Its attacks. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says Russian forces have begun new attacks on the Donbas region of eastern Ukraine.
This comes as the Pentagon now confirms Ukrainians will begin training on American-provided howitzers within days. And also a brutal standoff right now in the port city of Mariupol, which has almost been entirely leveled. An unknown number of Ukrainian Marines, believed to be the last pocket of resistance in that city, holed up in a major steel plant with little to no food or resources. Russians reportedly began dropping bunker buster bombs on the troops.
Fox's Matt Finn in Lviv, Ukraine. A federal judge's decision to strike down a national mask mandate prompted major airlines in many airports to drop the requirement for face coverings. The TSA says it no longer is enforcing the rule that's applied to airplanes, airports, taxis, buses, and subways. Most major U.S. air carriers have since announced they were yanking the mask requirement for domestic and some international flights. One COVID vaccine maker is studying the makeup of a new shot targeting variants of the virus.
Moderna is one of the makers of the 3 first ever authorized COVID-19 vaccines in the U.S. But by its own admission, the formula they developed is not as effective as it once was due to the mutation of the virus and the emergence of variants. But this fall, Moderna is hoping to unveil its next generation coronavirus vaccine, one that will combine the original with a version that can protect against illnesses caused by the Omicron variant. Multivalent vaccines are not a new concept. Yearly flu shots are designed this way. Moderna's data still needs independent review.
Fox's Evan Brown. A new Center for Forecasting and Outbreak Analytics is billed as an early warning system to help response to pandemics. America's listening to Fox News.
I tend to second-guess dinners with friends because they're often interrupted by diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or oily stools. It turns out I have EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, which means I'm missing the enzymes needed to digest food. My doctor prescribed Creon, pancrelipase, an oral prescription medication that replaces pancreatic digestive enzymes. Creon treats EPI due to cystic fibrosis, chronic pancreatitis, pancreatectomy, or other conditions.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you're allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon.
Creon is the #1 prescribed EPI treatment. Ask your doctor about Creon for EPI and visit Creon.com or call 800-633-9110 to learn more. That's CREON.com.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The non-spring feel continues this afternoon, the high in the mid-50s, but at least it's pretty out there, partly to mostly sunny skies. Lots of clouds moving in quickly tonight. 45 for the overnight low. Wednesday, a front settling in. Kind of gets stuck just to our south, but periods of showers Wednesday, a couple of non-severe thunderstorms and windy, 62 up to 72 on Thursday, 80 on Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Missouri Senate race is the focus of national attention, and 97.1 and the Mark Cox Morning Show invite you to meet one of the candidates. Vicky Hartzler will be at 18 North Central in O'Fallon this Wednesday. Join us and Mark Cox to ask Vicky Hartzler questions as part of the 97.1 Senate Speaker Series. Decision 2022 is here. Vicky Hartzler at 18 North Central Wednesday night at 7. No reservations required. Get all the details at 971talk.com.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
It's a no-brainer why you should get CarShield. They make it easy and affordable to protect your car from expensive repairs. Mark Cox here. CarShield offers protection plans for around $100 a month and covers more parts than ever before. When you need a repair, you choose the mechanic. CarShield's administrators handle the rest. No paperwork or headaches. Plans through CarShield include coast-to-coast roadside assistance, rental cars, trip reimbursement at no extra cost. CarShield has helped millions of drivers. That's why they're America's #1 car protection company. Lock in your price today. It'll never go up. As long as you own your car, no matter how old it is, you're protected from the rising cost of parts or repairs. Go to carshield.com/Cox or call 800-391-8888 to save 10% on your plan and lock in your pricing forever. That's carshield.com/Cox to save 10%. A deductible may apply.
Diamonds Direct's Fresh Pick store-wide spring sale is happening soon. Mark your calendar. April 29th, 30th, and May 1st. The biggest sale of the spring. You save an extra 20% on virtually everything in our showroom. All earrings, all bracelets, all pendants, all colored gemstones. Plus, with all the top engagement ring settings and wedding band designs, you're sure to find the perfect piece for the one you love. Don't miss this sparkling spring store-wide sale. 3 days only, April 29th, 30th, and May 1st. Only at Diamonds Direct. Details and more at diamondsdirect.com.
Worried about what you're breathing in? With each breath, allergens, germs, and viruses get trapped in your nose. Now there's a simple, easy, and effective way to clean your nose and protect your health. It's called Navage. Navage. Available at Navage.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
You can ask your smart speaker to play 97.1 FM Talk. And stay connected to everything happening in the world, the country, and the community. It's all through the new Odyssey app. 97.1 FM Talk. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by The Loading Dock. River views, outdoor dining, live music, and overnight accommodations. The Loading Dock on the river in Grafton, Illinois.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Oh, the Easter Bunny, Mr. President.
So I'm back, folks. Welcome to the Annie Frey Show. I have been gone for a little bit. If you haven't noticed, been gone for about a week and a day. And it is always interesting to me to step on the other side, maybe into where you are. Maybe you are like Annie in the studio where you are researching and reading and everything and on Twitter and you're just steeped in the news that's happening all the time. That was not me for the last week. And I have learned some things in the past week about this country. And it's funny to me because I had to pull myself away from the news in order to do that. Thanks for tuning in. Like I said, it's the Annie Frey Show. Brad Rangen here with me. Brad, you held down the fort. A lot of people complimented you in messages while I was out.
Oh, good, because I was doing my best.
Yeah.
I was trying to keep the reins on Wiggins.
Mm-hmm.
And
how'd you do?
I mean,
when I walked in the door today into the office, I kid you not, I could not see anybody except for Ryan Wiggins was standing in the hallway facing the doorway. I walked in with his arms crossed and he was just standing there. I still don't even know why.
I gave him an assignment.
What was it?
It's to stand there and make sure nobody that doesn't belong gets in.
Wiggins is security?
Yeah. You got to keep him busy, right? Idle hands are the devil's playpen.
There is a job shortage, so it makes sense. I think actually he's going to talk about the job market right now and why maybe we can't find workers as much as we should be able to in Wiggins America at 12:45. But yeah, I walked in and there he is standing there and I just was like, hello. I'm like, I said, are you supposed to be here to welcome me back? And he's like, yep, that's why I'm here. And then I walked by and that was pretty much it. That was.
He didn't even say welcome.
I think he did. I'll give him.
Okay.
I mean, he was very pleasant. He's doing a very good job.
Good.
You
Good.
instructed him well.
Yeah, that's the thing. You want your security guards not to be mean. You want them to be pleasant.
Yes.
And
but
welcoming,
sneaky.
But sneaky. Exactly.
Is right.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm people. I had a couple comments come through social media. They're like, Andy sure seems to take a lot of time off. I feel like maybe it's a good thing that you think that because you miss me. That's what I'm telling myself. But I didn't go anywhere. I definitely did things. I'm not going to say I didn't do anything. It was a week with my kids who were off from spring break. They were off all last week and yesterday. And we got a dumpster delivered to our house. And so that was the predicate for what I filled my time with when I was gone last week. And in the 2:00 hour, we're going to talk more about my time off and it's just some fun stuff that happened or funny stuff that happened. But I want to talk to you about what it was like to pull myself away from the news and to not be laying in bed each night, scrolling Twitter to look for sound to send to Brad into all hours of the evening. I was able to pull away from that, and there are still things that seeped into my existence while I was watching 4 kids and working around the house and doing all these things. And it occurs to me that that is very much so the life that many of you have the opportunity to live if you so choose. Now, I understand that a lot of you are equally nerds when it comes to stuff like this, the same way that I am, the same way that Brad is, the same way that Brad was before he was working on the show. And I get that. But you do get to pull away. If it's not your job, you get to pull away. And that's a healthy, healthy thing. The Easter Bunny thing, I saw people in my social media timeline and heard 2 separate people bring it up to me with their jaws dropped, going, why is the Easter Bunny moving the president of the United States around the White House grounds and directing him? How is this possible? That's question number 1. Question number 2 is, how do the people around this president allow that to even possibly happen? The optics, Brad, of having the Easter Bunny shuffling the president of the United States around from person to person or redirecting them when they're getting asked questions that they don't want. It is a visual nightmare politically to even have that possibly come to fruition. And it was, if you've seen the videos, it's the Easter egg roll. The Easter Bunny himself was there, which is pretty amazing when you think about that. The clout that this president has, certainly.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
It's up there. I'm reminded that the president also did say that Santa Claus was going to fix the supply chain issues.
I remember
so,
that.
Yeah, so maybe, he's in with the people.
He runs in those circles.
And the bunnies. So, yes. So, the president is moving around this thing. It's a very social event. It's a fun event for everybody who gets to attend it. A lot of people who are in Washington, D.C. get to bring their kids in and they get to, hunt for Easter eggs, so on and so forth. And Biden is just walking around. He goes up to some press and he starts talking, gets asked a question about Afghanistan. He just starts talking about it. And clearly the administration does not want President Biden talking about Afghanistan. Why would they? They don't want that to be this. The Easter egg roll is an easy thing. You're supposed to be able to go to the Easter egg festivity and be like, Easter, yay! It is what it is for you, and it is what it is for them. And you just celebrate it, and the Easter Bunny is there, and it's a wave, which, if you saw the video, Joe Biden had to also instruct President Biden after he said something from the balcony there. She has to nudge him and tell him to wave, and he, like a good soldier, waves. How is it that the White House, that this administration puts this president in a position where the cameras are everywhere and there are people everywhere and he's being shuffled around by the Easter Bunny. It's horrible. I don't understand optically, politically, good grief, from a national security standpoint, why you would allow this image to be put in play. But to me, it looked like, I don't know about you, Brad, it looked like the Easter Bunny was there to direct the president.
Yes. So when I was pulling audio today, and it was just the very beginning of the clip, and it didn't go with the rest of the clip, but the lady that was speaking, it's that Brett Baer clip that we've got, where they're talking, or the Brian Kilmeade clip, where they're talking about the Easter Bunny and how bad that looked.
Yeah, let's listen to it. It's right here.
How embarrassing is that? And for him to listen, for him to not say, hey, let me at least finish the sentence and say, okay, this is a fun day. I'll catch up to you guys later. But his dad turns around like a robot and just puts it away. I mean, who's in control here? My goodness, you allowed that to happen? Well, you're answering a serious question about the change in leadership of Pakistan, I think, because Pakistan that blamed us for the fact that Sharif was ousted. And maybe he's answering a real question. I don't know. But it sounds like a real question. Can isn't that a real job he has? Or is he the king of England?
So, like, right before Brian starts talking, the very, like, the program that we use, Pull the Clips, it doesn't always give us the whole context of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So right before he starts talking, what's her name? Ainsley Earhart.
Mm-hmm.
She's on the mornings. She was saying something about this is apparently the staffer whose job it is to keep Biden from answering these questions at these events. And they put her in the Easter Bunny suit to do this. And it's like, to me, like you were talking about disaster. This is terrible optics. Yes. Why would you put the person whose job it is to make sure the president doesn't do that in the bunny suit so that they stick out even more whenever they do it, and that you get this ridiculous optics of the Easter Bunny directing the president of the United States away from reporters answering questions?
Put her in the event, in a suit, standing next to him. Everybody understands that the president of the United States needs to be guided from place to place to place to place. It's not about President Biden having a staff that's ushering him from point A to point B. It's that the president has no clue what he's doing. Cognitively, he is not aware of the purpose of what he's doing. And he defers to people on a regular basis. They told me this. They told me that. I'm not supposed to do this. I'm supposed to stand here. Where do you want me to stand? Where am I supposed to go? It's not good for the country, folks. And there's a whole list of things. We're going to speak with Hans von Spakovsky in about 10 minutes or so, and we're going to talk to him about the Durham Probe. We're going to talk to him. I'm going to ask him, too, about the mask mandates. That's a huge, huge story that it was super exciting in our household to find out that the next time we have to fly, I don't have to slap a mask on my 5-year-old. So we're going to talk to Hans about that when we get back from this break, which we're going to get to here in a little bit. We're going to talk to Dakota Wood about the potential for World War III starting in Ukraine with Russia. And we're going to talk to Eric Schmidt also about that mask mandate. And also I saw an article that says that there's a local school here that was looking to reinstate masks on kids. We're going to ask him about that. Inflation is still soaring. Wiggins is going to talk to us about the job market and how there's a worker shortage. It's the house is on fire right now. And I'm pretty sure that the people in the administration are well aware of that. What I think Americans aren't well aware of, but asking the question is, who all is in this administration? Because the man in charge, the man that America elected, is not the guy calling the shots. It's a huge, huge problem. And I heard on Fox News earlier today, they were discussing their trepidation that, that America elected Joe Biden, with the good faith that he was going to be the one who was going to be leading this country. And I don't think that that's true. I think that we need to start contemplating the thought and the understanding that Donald Trump's presence in the White House is such a threat to liberal, uber progressive thinking people that anything, which includes the destruction of the country on their terms, is better than Donald Trump. That's how big of a threat that man is to their self-existence, to their understanding of reality. And they're so far off base. They're so out of touch with reality that they are okay with the understanding that you put a guy in there who's likable enough, because everybody else who was running for president on the Democrat side, they all had a thing. They all had an axe to grind, a reason to be in that race, to be fighting for the nomination. And Joe Biden, I remember where I was when Buttigieg and Klobuchar and I think Beto had just stepped out of the race. All of a sudden, like in an instant, the rationally minded, and I use the term lightly, it is what it is, in the Democratic primary, the people who were not too terribly fringe, not the Bernie Sanders of the campaign, Mike Bloomberg, remember him? What the heck was he doing? The people who were not going to get the nomination, but were, generally speaking, probably as likable as any of the other ones, they all collectively dropped out at the same time. And then they went to Texas and they all endorsed Joe Biden. And then right after that, was it South Carolina? He gets the endorsement from the Black Caucus, Congressional Caucus there in South Carolina. He wins that state. He wasn't winning anything before that. It was embarrassing to see how much he was losing by. Kamala Harris was one that dropped out before the Iowa caucus. She never even had the opportunity to get anyone to vote for, which is a good thing that she dropped out when she did, because there was no record of how poorly she performed in any of the caucuses or primaries. She smartly dropped out before she had a batting average, so to speak. And if you look at who's the vice president, and you look at the transportation secretary, and you see Pete Buttigieg is in there, and you see that he is apparently the heir to the White House, according to what Washington, D.C. has to say about it. And you see how all of this is just all fits so neatly and nicely together, like it was packaged for you. They needed somebody who could run, who was the antithesis of Donald Trump. Donald Trump is everywhere, and he is to the max everywhere. If there is an issue, he weighs in on it. He doesn't parse. He doesn't take the gray area. He's got a thought. He's got an opinion. He is charismatic. He is compelling. He's incredibly likable. Yes, I'm saying that out loud. He's incredibly likable if you subscribe to the idea of conservative policies, because now he has a batting average. And if you look at Donald Trump's batting average, if you just look at the sabermetrics, one might say, of presidenting.
Is OPS plus.
What is it? It's a million. Is it good to have a high number?
It's good to be over one. So 1 point
it's like
something.
4.
Yeah.
It's gigantic. It's huge.
Mathematically impossibly high.
Mathematically something you've never seen. This is what this president has done. He has the proverbial receipts. They needed somebody who was vacuous, who could come in and have a record of being kind of a nice guy and hard to punch. And, honestly, the best assessment of Joe Biden, I'll take from Barack Obama. Never underestimate Joe's ability to F things up. That's really what it is. He's there. He's along for the ride. He's a great politician. He has sold himself to the American people time and time and time again, based on virtually nothing, all the way to the Oval Office, all the way to the White House. And what they were going to do is, let's just get the old gang together. Let's get them back together. We know how to do this. We know who the players are. And Joe, you want to be the president of the United States? This is how it happens. And they won. And there is an entire way of life, freedom, liberty at stake right now. And the Easter Bunny is in charge. That cuts through. When you've got 4 kids at home and they're screaming and they want to listen to Encanto music for the 50 millionth time, and you're just trying to get from point A to point B and not lose your sanity, those people still see the Easter Bunny. And then they arrive at the grocery store, and at the grocery store, they're paying enormous prices that they haven't had to pay before. That stuff gets home. Quick break. When we come back, Hans von Spakovsky is going to talk to us about the Durham Probe and the developments that have been continuing to occur over the course of the last few weeks. The Durham Probe's not going away. And Biden might be in the middle of it as well. Let's talk to Hans von Spakovsky in just a minute. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. Vicky Hartzler will be at 18 North Central in O'Fallon this Wednesday. Join us and Mark Cox to ask Vicky Hartzler questions as part of the 97.1 Senate Speaker Series. No reservations required. Get all the details at 971talk.com.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet store. Do you feel like you have a hard time standing on your feet at work because of foot pain? When you come home at night, do you want to kick off your shoes because your feet are killing you?
It didn't matter whether I spent $20 or whether I spent $120. You might have a great shoe, but you just don't have great support in the shoe.
Good Feet fits in all your shoes. No shots, no surgery, no medication. Good Feet.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Deerbergs.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort you might have been missing for years. No waiting required. Good Feet products are immediately available.
Jen Teskey of Remax Alliance, the go-to person when you are looking to sell your home on the Illinois side of the river. We don't talk about Illinois a lot, at least from a realty standpoint on the station, but I do because I found the very best, and that's Jen Teskey. You're going to meet her. You can just text her. I'm going to give you the number here in a minute. So get your phone out so that at the end here, you've got it ready. You can just punch the number in and you can text her. When you start talking to her, if you get the opportunity and you've got the time to sit down with Jen and talk about selling your home, you are so quickly going to understand why she has been so successful. She's compelling. She is super nice. She's straight to the point, and she's fun. And when you work with Jen Teskey, you're going to get the truth that you need to hear about your home, to position it to get, yes, top dollar, and to sell it as fast as absolutely possible. Jen Teskey is the best on the Illinois side of the river. If you're looking to sell your home, especially in that Edwardsville, Glen Carbon, Maryville, Troy, and Collinsville area, this is the number to call or text. 618-541-1010. That's 618-541-1010.
Our national debt is now over $30 trillion, an increase of over 20% in just the past 2 years. I'm sure you've been told at some point that taxes will be lower when you retire, but do you truly believe that? Now is the time to begin planning for the future of tax increases. Is your financial advisor helping you with tax planning for a tax-efficient future? If not, this is the time to call me, Ken Heisey, at Heisey Advisory Group, 314-328-6000. If you're like most people, you have a portfolio of investments, but a portfolio is not a plan. How have you planned for the potential legislative risk of increased taxes? Call Heisey Advisory Group now and let us help you create a plan to reduce the tax risk in your retirement. 314-328-6000. Again, that's 314-328-6000.
Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through A Wealth Management, LLC.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. So glad that you are here, and I am so glad to be back from a vacation. Thank you for giving me some of that time to be at home with my kids and get some stuff done that I really needed to get done. A reminder, you can go to the Annie Frey YouTube live chat right now, and we have a poll up. Is Trump's endorsement an asset or liability to win for candidates running in the 2022 midterms? I would love to hear your thoughts on that, so you can comment your thoughts, but you got to vote in the poll, which is right there on the Annie Frey YouTube live chat. So let's get to our next guest here. We're going to speak with Hans von Spakovsky. And here I'm going to read this real quick before we put him on. From Fox News, Special Counsel John Durham asserted in a court filing Friday that the CIA concluded data from the Clinton campaign lawyer Michael Sussman alleging coordination between Donald Trump and Russia was, quote, not technically plausible and was, quote, user created. Well, when did that happen? I want to ask our expert guest, who we've loved to talk about this issue for literally years, Hans von Spakovsky with the Heritage Foundation, their senior legal fellow. Hans, welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. It's great to have you back.
Well, thanks, and welcome back to you from your vacation.
Thank you. It was a good one, but it was one of those like work from home vacations where I just worked the entire time,
Yes.
and so I kind of needed to get back to work to actually relax. So, talk to me about this latest revelation in the Durham Probe, where we discovered that the CIA concluded that there was no collusion between Russia and Donald Trump, and that not only was there no connection, that there was a story that was, their words, user created.
Well, that tells us, I mean, the meeting where Sussman fed this information to the CIA was in February 2017.
Wow.
So they knew at the beginning that this information that he was feeding to them, the CIA was saying, look, this isn't plausible. This was created by the users. And that should have put the FBI on notice immediately of what was going on here, that a hoax was being perpetrated. But look, that's not there's been one blockbuster after another. I mean, first of all, Sussman is going to trial in May. He tried to get the case dismissed, and a judge recently ruled, no, your case is going to trial. The prosecution have a case against you. But here's another thing that's really important about this. Remember, the New York Times and all these people have basically dismissed this whole prosecution. Because remember, the prosecution is that Sussman, this lawyer for Perkins Coie, which is the lawyer for the Clinton campaign, that he lied to the FBI when he said in a personal meeting with the general counsel of the FBI, look, I'm just giving you this information about this collusion, out of being a good citizen. I'm not doing it on behalf of a client, when in fact he was doing it on behalf of a client, the Clinton campaign. But up until now, the left has tried to minimize this by saying, oh, look, this happened 5 years ago. It was an oral meeting, and the whole thing, it wasn't recorded, unobserved. All you have is a single witness, James Baker, the former FBI counsel. So they've thrown water on it. Well, it turns out that we now know that the night before the meeting with the general counsel of the FBI, Sussman actually sent him a text to the personal cell phone of the general counsel of the FBI, in which he said, I'm coming on my own, not on behalf of a client or a company. So this means that his lie, Sussman's lie to the FBI, was in writing, but we only know about it now. Why? Because Baker, the former general counsel of the FBI, he didn't turn this over to Durham prosecution until March of this year.
That's unbelievable.
And Sussman never turned it over, and Perkins Coie, his former law firm, they didn't turn it over either, which is why another development in the case is Durham has filed a motion to compel against the DNC, the Clinton campaign, Fusion GPS, and Perkins Coie, because Durham says the court needs to order them to produce all these documents that they are withholding, claiming that these are attorney-client privilege documents. But to show you how bogus that claim is, they're withholding almost 1,500 documents, but only 18 of them actually involve a lawyer. So they're clearly trying to hide the documents they have, and Durham has to go to court to get a judge to order them to turn it over.
We're speaking with Hans von Spakovsky, senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation. You know, it's just jaw dropping to me. We should be used to this now. We should expect this by now, but it's the boldness that has been taken upon these collusioners is what I'm going to call them, at least for our purposes here. Have they, from the assertion, because Hillary Clinton was saying this she was saying it during the campaign. You know, this was a story that was put out there before the election even took place. So this goes into maybe the early fall, late summer of 2016 that this story was manifested, used or created, to use their words. Have the collusioners had a single win this entire time where they have said, this is what happened, this is what we're scared of for our country, for democracy? Have they ever had a single win, or is it been a manifested story top to bottom and they've just gotten away with all the lies this long?
It's exactly what you just said. There's not a single one of their claims has been proven to be true. In fact, every single one of their claims has been proven to be a hoax, false, made up. And so far, they've totally gotten away with it. And to show you how worried they are and should be, and one of the other things that was just revealed in a Durham filing is that, remember, we learned recently that they were basically vacuuming up the internet traffic of Donald Trump at his apartment building in New York, at his businesses. They were even getting information from the White House on him. And apparently 5 of the internet researchers who were helping to intercept that data, they've all claimed the Fifth Amendment and are unwilling to provide any kind of witness testimony because they're afraid they could be criminally prosecuted.
Hans, so like the connection that was established, the story that was put out there for the American people to digest, that my assessment was supposed to get Hillary the presidency, and then we would never be talking about this for years and years later. I don't think they thought that this would actually go on this long. It was to assess the relationship between Donald Trump and specifically Russia. Was it suggesting that if he were president, he would have Russia or / personal interests ahead of the American interests? Or was it that the election was going to be swayed because of his partnership with Russia? What was the actual claim that they were trying to make the American people believe?
Well, I think it was both of those. One, that he was colluding with Russia to somehow steal the election, I guess through the internet or whatever, but also that if he did get elected, he would be a secret ally of the Russians and would allow Putin to do whatever he wanted to. As you know, not only was the collusion claim a hoax, but he was very tough on the Russians. In fact, I think he's been a lot tougher on the Russians than Biden has been.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because it's been proven that there is no connection there, no nefarious connection between President Trump and Russia. But it seems to me, if I'm not mistaken, that at this very point in time, you can go back all the way to the second impeachment of Donald Trump, that there were allegations and evidential circumstances to believe that the Biden family did have potentially nefarious connections to foreign countries that did deserve to be looked at. And it seems as though we impeached Donald Trump the second time to make sure that those I remember the phrase being, this is just a ploy to disparage somebody during a political campaign or a political election. They did not want Joe Biden to be subjected to this in a campaign year. And they believe that Donald Trump's efforts were simply to get after a political opponent. There is reason to believe that the Biden family is compromised based on relationships that the Biden family has with foreign countries. If we were looking into those as much as we have been looking into made up allegations between Trump and Russia, I think that the world would look pretty different right now.
Oh, no, I think it absolutely would. Look, the most obvious example of that is the way they tried to dismiss and cover up Hunter Biden's laptop, claiming that, it wasn't really his laptop, that it was just Russian disinformation. And now suddenly, in the last month, the New York Times and the Washington Post have admitted and said, oh, no. It's been authenticated. This really was his laptop. These really were his emails. Well, it was authenticated when it was first revealed. It's like suddenly now they realize, boy, we're going to really look bad because we denied the reality of this. And so now they're saying, oh yeah, now we have authenticated it. Well, it was authenticated years ago, and they basically tried to cover it up to ensure that their candidate, Joe Biden, got elected.
Hans von Spakovsky with us right now, the senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation. You have written a book called Our Broken Elections, How the Left Changed the Way You Vote. And I think it's so compelling to listen to both sides of the aisle right now. They're pounding their fists on the table about the elections and the voting systems. And both sides really want to see changes take place to make sure that our elections are safe and secure. And I can't help but think about how the fabrication of this Trump collusion story that Hillary Clinton, her campaign manifested, but then she wrote an entire book called What Happened, and it assessed all of the goings on of the election and how Donald Trump's bad connections to Russia compromised our elections, and democracy is at stake. What is the one thing you want the American people to know about the election system and the security of it and the value of the individual vote?
I think the one thing people should realize is you're right. Both sides want to make changes, but one side, they don't want secure elections. I mean, all you have to do is contrast the fact that liberals think they want to ban all voter ID laws across the country, whereas the conservative side says, voter ID, well, of course we should require an ID when you vote. That demonstrates how one side wants, look, everyone who's eligible to be able to vote, but you want to have secure elections, whereas the other side is just, we want everyone voting, even if they're not eligible to vote, and even if fraud occurs, as long as we win the race.
I think that your book is a must read. People can get it right now. It's called Our Broken Elections, How the Left Changed the Way You Vote. Hans, I think we're going to be seeing you here pretty soon. We're going to be releasing those details later this week. It's always a pleasure to have you on. The Durham Probe is at the top of every time I see a story come across about that. I read it, and you have been our go-to for facts and information. And I think you're batting 1,000 on your assessments over the course of years here on the show, which is why we love having you here. And we'll have you back soon.
Sure. Thanks for having me, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Sounds great. Hans von Spakovsky, senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation, also the former FEC commissioner and Department of Justice lawyer and author. Go get his book. Get that book ordered. I'm going to just give you a little wink tip right now. Get the book ordered so you have it in hand here for the next coming weeks. And I'll talk to you more about that later. We're going to take a quick break. Wiggins America back in studio here with us in just a minute. We're going to talk about a worker shortage and an unlikely reason why that might be occurring. Plus, you can vote in today's YouTube poll in the live chat. Is Trump's endorsement an asset or liability to win for candidates running in the 2022 midterms? I'm seeing some people reacting here, and it's funny because the more you think about that question, the more you might go one way or the other, or maybe even change the way you think. So tell us, asset or liability, Trump's endorsement in the YouTube live chat poll. Wiggins America in just a minute. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
That's where you want to go. Miles and miles and nothing down that Oklahoma road.
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Donald Trump Jr. on the phone with us this morning. They dragged your fiance into all this, Kimberly Guilfoyle.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't pulled you in because you were within a 500-mile radius of January 6th and the Capitol on that day.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9.
Stewart's American Mortgage. He's the guy who's going to help you get your financial house in order. Did you just file your tax return? Were you sad? Were you angry that money was not going to the money that you worked hard for, the amount that got dumped into the federal government? Well, if you want to make sure that your situation on the biweekly finances that you have or your monthly payment to your mortgage is improved, there's no better place to go than getting a mortgage refinance with Stewart's American Mortgage. You can free up some of that equity that you have in your home to pay down some high interest credit card debt. You can make sure that you have the best in the business when it comes to accessing this mortgage refinance with the bagel loan. It's nowhere else. It's only with Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage, because when you use the bagel loan, you don't pay fees that every other lender out there is going to charge you. You just don't do it. I've done it twice. It's not made up. He doesn't tuck them away and hide them or finance them over 30 years. You don't pay the fees. It's really that simple. 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. You can Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Wealth-changing question. Is your advisor giving you incomplete advice? Besides investing, there's also taxes, insurance, estate planning, and other elements that can be stressful to organize. At Creative Planning, we provide all the expertise, all the advice you need, all in-house, ensuring all aspects of your wealth are working harder together, so you can enjoy your wealth instead of worrying about it. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
Frederick Roofing, wherever you live, from Alton to Afton to Collinsville to Cottleville, Clayton to Creve-Coeur, your city and more. Webster to Wildwood, the one you know. Frederick Roofing, wherever you go. For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof. Frederick Roofing.
314-645-2000. Aren't you tired of hearing ads that say they're the best, they're the experts, blah, 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 just one unsubstantiated claim after another? Well, here are two substantiated claims that actually mean something if you need roof repair or a new roof. With a family-owned business tradition of over 80 years and 80,000 satisfied customers, you can depend on Frederick Roofing, residential or commercial.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof. Frederick Roofing. Frederick Roofing, 645-2000.
Are you frustrated and just want a service company to solve all your ongoing water leaks around your chimney the first time? English Sweep Full Service Company has been solving chimney issues for 40 years. Go to EnglishSweep.com. Get back to the important things in life. EnglishSweep.com.
A decorated combat veteran, Richard Irvin fought America's enemies in Desert Storm. He put gangbangers, drug dealers, and wife beaters behind bars as a prosecutor. Pritzker's money, Madigan's machine, they don't scare Richard Irvin. Never have. When Richard ran for mayor of Illinois' second largest city, Mike Madigan campaigned against him. Madigan lost. Now Richard Irvin says, Governor Pritzker's next.
I'm Richard Irvin. There's nothing the left fears more than Republicans who look like me and think like us. That all lives matter. That cops should be defended, not defunded. That handouts keep people down. But maybe that's what liberal politicians want. And I'm their worst nightmare. Their days are numbered. Madigan's under indictment. We've got Pritzker running scared because Illinoisans have had enough of politicians picking our pockets to line their own. I'm Richard Irvin. Let's take back our state.
Pass term limits, end corruption. Richard Irvin for governor. Paid for by Irvin for Illinois.
Looking to sell your house without all the hassle and pricey repair costs? Great, because Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis loves buying fix-up homes in any condition, as is, no fees and no commissions. Call 314-782-8000, and Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis will give you a cash offer right now. No strings attached. We buy inherited houses, divorce houses, trashed houses, even those my tenant won't pay rent houses. Call Chris at 314-782-8000 and find out how easy it is to work with us. That's 314-782-8000. Do you think your home will be difficult to sell? Easy. Our team will provide you with personal guidance through our short and simple process to turn your house into a pile of gold. Just call Chris at 314-782-8000. 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And let Chris worry about everything.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
Bringing you up-to-the-minute traffic like nobody else. Sue Thomas and dependable traffic, driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. This is The Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Coming in, oh, and it's rising at the back of your mind. You never could get it unless you were fed it. Now you're here and you don't know why.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy Tuesday. Very, very glad to have you back here with us. Thanks for choosing to spend some time here with the Annie Frey Show. Let's get straight to it. Wiggins America.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins!
Hi, Ryan.
Hi, and welcome back.
Thank you.
All right, let's get to the headline, and then I got some questions for you here.
Oh,
So
it's a quiz.
The headline is unemployment rate is at 3.6%. That's good news because that's about where it was in February of 2020, right before everything went to pot. So my question is, do you feel, though, when you're out and about, as if the unemployment rate is back to where it was at that point?
At what point?
February 2020.
Just prior to the shutdown.
In your interactions with the world.
Well, no, it doesn't feel like that. I feel like the short staff thing, the excuse is getting a little overused, though.
Yeah.
Just because you're short staffed, you still have a product. Like here's the deal. If I'm going in and I'm paying more money,
Which you are.
everywhere, and you're short staffed, you still have to figure out a way to deliver the product I'm paying for, especially when it costs more. $5 lunch at Dairy Queen,
No longer.
$7.
Mhm.
It's a $7 lunch.
Oh my gosh.
And I know this because, and I'm gonna talk about this more in the 2:00 hour. We made a list. I had my kids make a list of fun things that we would do because I had a list of not fun things that we were going to do
Over the break?
And one of them was to go out to lunch, kids pick, and they picked Dairy Queen. And I was like, okay, we'll just go get a few of those. And I'm of the mind, like, I'll buy a couple bananas. We'll chop those in half. We'll split the fries from one thing. Like, it's a whole thing.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Because my wife hates when I do that, but I do that every time.
Do you do it to be cheap or do you do it to be healthier?
Cheap.
Healthier.
Oh, no.
But anyway, I went there and I was like, it was going to cost way too much money to do all of that. So I just bought them all their own meals. They win, I guess. Inflation again. But it was $7. That was the time that I was like, holy smokes, This is out of control.
Yeah, it used to be that $7 would get you the Blizzard included or Sunday included. There was like an upgrade you would get. And now I think that's just the
And the food
norm.
was not the quality that it should have been.
I can't speak to that, but yes, in general, what you're experiencing, I think everybody is, which is why I asked the question. So I dug into that a little bit. Why, if the unemployment rate is at 3.6%, which is, again, what it was in February of 2020, why does it still feel like we're struggling so bad? Well, inflation's part of it. But the other part is that there's a labor participation rate. So if you look into that, it really stays within a pretty narrow range. Because at February of 2020, it was at 63% of people in the United States were in the labor force. That dropped at its lowest level in probably April, March of 2020 to just 60%. So that's not it doesn't sound like a huge drop, 63 to 60. But now we're only back up to 62.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're talking about that narrow of a range and you're only back up to 62 rather than 63, that's why we're feeling this, because a lot of people have decided to just not look for work. So what are the reasons for that? Well, it's all the things that we've talked about many times. The Federal Reserve has said, we think it's because of this and that. We think it's because of childcare, a lot of schools being closed for so long. People weren't able to go back into the labor force because they had to figure out what to do with their kids or pay for their kids to go places. It was increased unemployment. It was increased basically government money going out. They list all these things publicly. This isn't, conservative radio saying this is the Fed saying this. But then I saw this study and it really shocked me. And I wonder if this is because of COVID or if it's just increasing in general in the United States. A study just came out from the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta, the University of Pennsylvania, and the University of Barcelona, looking at the negative effect of labor force participation rate in the prime years, which is 25 to 54, hasn't recovered since March 2020. And they blame it on things like increased substance abuse.
Yikes.
They say that between 9 and 26% of the reason that we're feeling what we're feeling is because people have become addicted to substances and drugs, maybe in the last couple of years, and they're not kicking those habits. And so they're not looking for work like they would have.
Are they collecting unemployment?
This would suggest that they are.
That's probably why they're not working.
I mean, if you're getting money.
The reason you get it, very few people go to work just for fun. I mean, it's a perk. Yeah, except for all three of us.
We love our jobs, everyone.
Yeah. When you go to work and you get paid to do something you love, that's the goal. Because you need a job. Somebody in your household needs a job. I think that some of the participation has to do with households who, let's not forget about the drastic seismic shakeup that has taken place in education in this country. People have had their kids at home and watched their kids be educated in a way that they're not necessarily thrilled with. And I'm not talking about, this is not like all about, it does include the CRT stuff or the indoctrination that a lot of people are complaining about. But just in general, you might not have been thrilled with what the education was that your kid was getting, and you didn't like your job, and you just think, you know what, I can do this at home. So is that going to be 1% of the labor workforce? No, but I think that there are tons of things that contribute to it. And I think that a lot of lifestyle changes where people were locked in their homes for a year plus, and if they turn to alcohol, yet another casualty of the government's choice to force people out of the way we do things in this country.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're going to know the full breadth of that for decades.
No, I don't either. It's starting to pop up because studies are being done. So it's good to see, but there's so much secondary and tertiary things that we're going to find out happen because of the lockdowns that we all knew it wasn't going to be positive. And so we're sort of seeing the results of that now.
Yeah. You want to come back at 145 or 2?
I want to come back at 145.
You do?
I do.
Well, you can come back at 2.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
No, we'll see you at 145. That sounds fun. Welcome back, everybody. I'm glad to be here. And the show continues in the 1 o'clock hour with Dakota Wood and Eric Schmidt. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
When our Shane Company diamond buyers travel overseas to examine diamonds, they have everything they need to select the most beautiful stones. In-depth knowledge, experience, natural light, and an eye for beauty. When you shop with us, we want you to also have everything you'll need to select your diamond. That's why we sell our diamonds loose. We were the first jeweler in America to sell loose stones. To choose a diamond, ruby, or sapphire like an expert, you need to see the entire stone, to look at it from every angle before it's set into your jewelry. Our jewelry consultants provide everything you need to properly evaluate a stone, the tools, the correct lighting, and the knowledge. You'll compare loose stones side by side, like our diamond experts do. It's the only way you'll be sure to choose the perfect diamond for you. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and shaneco.com.
Hey guys, it's the new year. Are you still struggling with erectile dysfunction? I've yet to meet anyone that enjoys timing those intimate moments around a pill. Well, now you don't have to. The advanced wave technology at Pineview Medical has been shown by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic to restore and even regrow blood vessels. It can improve circulation and eliminate erectile dysfunction. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, call us in the next 2 minutes and you'll receive a consultation, assessment, and blood flow ultrasound free, plus a special gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. You're going to love that. Trust me. This is a $600 value, free to callers now. 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Guys, get rid of your ED and get that spark back. Call Pineview Medical now to qualify. 314-530-7777.
On Sunday, May 1st, the Cardinals host the D-backs, and that day, 10,000 kids ages 15 and younger entering with a ticket will take home their very own Cardinal fleece blanket. Cozy up with the Cardinals all season long with this exclusive baby blue plush throw. Thanks to the Pasta House Company. Tell your parents it's Sunday, May 1st. The Cardinals, the D-backs, and the kids-only fleece blanket. Get your tickets today at cardinals.com/promotions.
A is for all, B is for baseball, C is for Cardinals. Celebrate the ABCs at Busch Stadium on Sunday, May 1st It's Sesame Street Day at the ballpark. With the purchase of a special theme ticket, fans can select either a unique bobblehead featuring our own favorite birds, Fred Bird and Big Bird, or Build-A-Bear Workshop Elmo plush. Sunday, May 1st, Sesame Street Day at the ballpark. For details or tickets, visit cardinals.com/theme.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
Taking off face masks, I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. A federal judge's ruling that voided the national mask mandate for public transportation has many companies quickly changing their pandemic rules over face coverings.
It did not take long for those masks to start coming off. After the ruling, the TSA announcing effective immediately, TSA will no longer enforce its security directives and emergency amendment requiring mask use on public transportation and transportation hubs.
Fox's Alicia Acuna, most major airlines have since announced masks would be optional for passengers on domestic and some international flights. Lyft and Uber also removing requirements that passengers wear masks. The federal government today launching the Center for Forecasting and Outbreak Analytics within the CDC. Similar to the National Weather Service's Storm Prediction Mission, the new agency is tasked with predicting the course of the COVID-19 pandemic and future pandemics. Its initial $200 million in funding comes from COVID legislation approved last year. Russian forces appear to be entering a new phase of the invasion of Ukraine, targeting the country's east.
Russia's foreign minister confirms that Russia has begun its second major phase targeting the east, the Donbass region, and also a brutal standoff right now in the port city of Mariupol. An unknown number of Ukrainian Marines, believed to be the last pocket of resistance in that city, holed up in a major steel plant with little to no food or resources.
Fox's Matt Finn is in Lviv, Ukraine. A judge has rejected a request to reduce bond for the jailed parents of a Michigan teen accused of a deadly school shooting. James and Jennifer Crumbly each locked up on a $500,000 bond charged with involuntary manslaughter. Prosecutors say they failed to address concerns about their son's mental health and bought him, Ethan Crumbly, the gun police say was used to kill 4 high school students late last year. America's listening to Fox News.
I tend to second-guess dinners with friends because they're often interrupted by diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or oily stools. It turns out I have EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, which means I'm missing the enzymes needed to digest food. My doctor prescribed Creon, pancrelipase, an oral prescription medication that replaces pancreatic digestive enzymes. Creon treats EPI due to cystic fibrosis, chronic pancreatitis, pancreatectomy, or other conditions.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you're allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon.
Creon is the #1 prescribed EPI treatment. Ask your doctor about Creon for EPI and visit Creon.com or call 800-633-9110 to learn more. That's CREON.com.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The non-spring feel continues this afternoon, the high in the mid-50s, but at least it's pretty out there, partly to mostly sunny skies. Lots of clouds moving in quickly tonight. 45 for the overnight low. Wednesday, a front settling in. Kind of gets stuck just to our south, but periods of showers Wednesday, a couple of non-severe thunderstorms and windy, 62 up to 72 on Thursday, 80 on Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Missouri Senate race is the focus of national attention, and 97.1 and the Mark Cox Morning Show invite you to meet one of the candidates. Vicky Hartzler will be at 18 North Central in O'Fallon this Wednesday. Join us and Mark Cox to ask Vicky Hartzler questions as part of the 97.1 Senate Speaker Series. Decision 2022 is here. Vicky Hartzler at 18 North Central Wednesday night at 7. No reservations required. Get all the details at 971talk.com.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Attention business owners. This is a public awareness message from the ThrottleNet cybersecurity team. The war against hackers and ransomware is underway. The only way to prevent the war from impacting your business is to speak with the ThrottleNet cybersecurity team immediately. You need to act now. The ThrottleNet cybersecurity team is prepared to protect you against cyber threats. Schedule a meeting right away by visiting throttlenet.com/cyberwar.
Research shows people remember radio ads that remind them of the past. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need, here's an ad that'll really take you back.
Back in my day, I heard a voice from the radio say, Liberty Mutual customizes my home insurance so I only pay for what I need. I'm getting on in years now, but heavens to Betsy, there are some things an old fella like me just never forgets.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s, like go back to college, learn to skateboard.
Whoa.
Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. At aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a free 3-minute chat with the friendly digital retirement coach, Avo, and receive personalized tips to help boost your savings. Start chatting with Avo today at aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Tune into the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Del, self-made millionaire and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, will show you how to live the life of your dreams and pay for it with passive income.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
There's a music station that fits your taste at Odyssey.com. Download the app for instant access to hundreds of music stations and listen live to 97.1 FM Talk. The Odyssey app. Download it or stream from 971talk.com. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by The Loading Dock. River views, outdoor dining, live music, and overnight accommodations. The Loading Dock on the river in Grafton, Illinois.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
And so think about a world in which your capital ship goes down. And by the way, that's an extremely distinctive looking ship. And I, for one, believe those are pretty accurate photos we're seeing. You can fake anything. Let's stipulate that. But boy, that's high end if it's fake. And I don't think it is. And then, Willie, when you couple it to the fact that you come ashore, your ship has sunk, and you hold effectively you did a good job parade for the crew, and 400 of them are missing. That's not a good look. And so when I put all that together, I think this is a stunning blow to the Russian Navy.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy to be here with you, back from my vacation and catching up on all of the news that is out there. Certainly one of those stories that has been pervasive and continues to escalate over course of time is the Russia invasion of Ukraine. Fox News reporting last night, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky vowed to oppose the Russian offensive in the Donbas region Monday, as Russian President Vladimir Putin refocused his forces on the east and south of Ukraine. Quote from Zelensky, no matter how many soldiers are drawn there, we will defend ourselves. We will fight. We will not give up anything Ukrainian. Well, let's go to one of our resident experts when it comes to this conflict in Ukraine. That is Dakota Wood, the Senior Research Fellow for Defense Programs at the Heritage Foundation. Dakota, welcome back to the show. Such a pleasure to have you here.
I tell you, I've said this before, it's a great blessing to be with you and the crew and just to enjoy having the conversations to tee up.
Well, thank you so much. We do appreciate that. And I know the listeners do as well. Your assessment of what's been going on is, I'll put it this way, it's consumable for people like me who don't know the ins and outs of these very complicated conflicts. I'd like for you to just take a moment to react there to what President Zelensky said last night. What is the status of the Russian invasion of Ukraine? Is there a side that's winning right now?
Well, I think in the information war, the popular opinion, the inspirational aspect, clearly the ball is in Ukraine's court. I mean, Zelensky continues to be this inspiring Churchillian, Lincoln-esque sort of figure, and he's saying all the right things. And there's this old dead Russian or Prussian guy by the name of Clausewitz who wrote in the early 1800s that talked about moral is to the physical is like 3 to 1 or something like that. And his point was, if your troops are motivated, if the people are inspired, if they have a cause to fight for, it can really trump a better equipped enemy, right? That isn't is similarly motivated. And so we're seeing this aspect of the war play out where Ukraine has really stepped up to the plate. And on the Russian side, the Russian forces have no idea why they're there. They were ordered in, they're massacring people. Ukraine wasn't attempting to invade Russia. And so I think it's really the ball is in Ukraine's court on this. Now, that having been said, Russia has a huge inventory of munitions. And as you have reported so often, they're just devastating, these cities. They've basically stolen or kidnapped 40,000 civilians out of that southern city of Mariupol and taken them into the interior of Russia to use as hostages. The brutality will continue to escalate. So I think it's a great message from Zelensky, who understands the logic of war and the emotion of war and how it gets its own message. That once these kinds of casualties have been imposed, your country is being destroyed, you have to fight for everything. This isn't a moment where you can say, okay, we've suffered enough, we're going to give away half of our country to make the killing stop. His people would turn on him, right? In kind of an act of betrayal. So he's saying and doing the right things, and I think it's really Ukraine has an opportunity to actually defeat the Russians and to eject them from the country, but they're going to need continued support from the West to be able to do that.
Wow. That's really something to think about, being this far into this conflict, that you're talking about the potential, the existence of the possibility that there could be a Ukrainian victory here. We're speaking with Senior Research Fellow for Defense Programs at the Heritage Foundation, Dakota Wood. I want to ask you about Zelensky, because he was offered a ride out of Ukraine. He could have escaped. What would have happened in his absence had he not said, no, I'm going to stay here and fight for my country?
Well, I think it would have been a gut punch to the people and to his government. I mean, here our leader has run away to a safer place. And I think the great moral victory that they're seeing now would not have been there. And there are historical examples, at the onslaught of Germany against Great Britain, there at the beginning of World War II, there was a lot of pressure to have the king at that time evacuate the country and go to Canada or someplace else. He said, no, my place is here with the people. And it was a great rallying cry. The Britons saw their monarch standing with them, even as London was being bombarded and all these sorts of things. So again, Zelensky is saying and doing all of the right things. And he serves as a rallying figure that keeps this motivation, up and running. And what a stunning thing it was to see the British Prime Minister, flying into Kyiv and walking the streets, of that capital city that was under fire as well. This is what people need to do when the chips are so down and you see the devastation around you. Is you need something to give you hope and somebody to say, yes, victory is achievable. This is not a hopeless situation. And I think that he is playing this for the long game.
Let me ask you this, Dakota. I'm in my late 30s, and I'm trying to think of a time in my lifetime, whether I was aware of what was going on in the world or not. In the last 40 years or so, have we seen a conflict that mirrors what we're looking at right now? Is this a repeat of something that has existed in history before?
No. I think the most recent thing would have been World War II. I mean, she's talking 70 years or better in the past, 75, 80 years. Clearly, war is a feature of humankind and the interactions between states. We've seen all kinds of atrocities across the continent of Africa. The United States has been in wars in Iraq twice, in Afghanistan. The conflict in Syria continues. The Houthis and the Yemenis and the Saudis are still fighting. So it's not like there aren't conflicts, but sometimes there is this moment where there is a cultural connection, where it occurs in a set of circumstances where it just rises above, these other sorts of things, right? And so Ukraine being right there on the eastern border of Europe, the fact that NATO is potentially involved, at least on the margins there, that a major country like Russia has unilaterally invaded a neighboring state. And we're seeing these things play out 24 hours a day across social media, high resolution, high fidelity sound and images, pouring into living rooms and across, smartphones and those sorts of things in an endless stream. I mean, it's the nearest equivalent I can think of is the movie tone newsreels that came out of World War II. So I think we're at that level again. And again, the background here, which makes this even more poignant, is the specter of potential use of nuclear weapons or chemical munitions or cyber warfare that could be applied even here to the United States. So, nothing else that's occurred in Middle East, Africa, Asia has risen to this level since we saw a global war in the 1940s.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that specifically. Anytime the word nuclear war comes up, people who aren't normally paying attention, or truly in my lifetime, whether it was, it seems like there's been war in the Middle East pretty much my entire existence, whether it was George Bush 1 or after 9/11. I was 17 years old when that happened, and people my age were turning 18. They signed up and they went and fought multiple tours over in the Middle East. So I think that people my age are kind of numb to the understanding of this is something that's happening over there. But when you're talking about nuclear war, whether it would come to our shores, God forbid, or if it's taking place geography that's far, far away from us, that is just a whole next level thing. What do the American people need to know and be paying attention to right now that might be still a bit war fatigued based on the last 40 years or so of paying attention to these types of conflicts?
Yeah, you can get numb to it, this constant drumbeat, right? And we see that in our daily lives. If you've got local violence or gang, violence in an area, or let's say, the drug abuse problems, and the homelessness and streets littered with needles in San Francisco and other areas. Once it's going on, for a very long period of time, that's your normal, and it's a sad way to think about it. But when we think about today's situation, these various wars, the United States, and this doesn't resonate real well with people, the United States has suffered almost zero casualties. When you think about war, right? They're very low levels given the levels of effort and the military presence the United States has in other areas. What doesn't connect with people, because they haven't had to think about it for 30 or 35 years, is if it rises to the level of nuclear conflict, thousands and thousands and thousands of people can be killed in a single strike, cities disappearing. And this is the stuff of alien movies, science fiction stuff on the big movie screen, Transformer robots. It's all this kind of fantasy sort of stuff. But I was born in 1963. And in the 60s and in the 70s, this Cold War where you had bombers flying around the world 24 hours a day, fleets of combat ships kind of nudging each other in distant oceans, Khrushchev earlier on, pounding the podium at the UN saying that we will destroy you, to the Western world. It's like a bygone era. But when Vladimir Putin thinks about nuclear weapons and says he's thinking about them as actual usable weapons. And in the United States, since the dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1992, we just haven't had to think about that at all for 30 years. So it's hard to connect with something that you don't have personal experience with, or the reality or the gravitas or the seriousness of it. And so it would behoove people, I think it would be to their benefit to just think about that for a moment and how you as an individual or your family or your community would respond, under that kind of a nuclear cloud. I mean, if something like that broke out. So then it speaks to personal resilience and health and financial stability and just a whole other things. You could have another hour-long program on that sort of thing. But our government hasn't really thought about it. Our military forces really haven't had to think about it, even though we retain certain capabilities. And I think this, again, Russian invasion of Ukraine and the powers that are involved and the stakes that are involved, and having somebody like Vladimir Putin, for whom nuclear weapons are an actual usable tool, it brings a different sort of seriousness to the discussion that people really need to think about.
Last question before we let you go, Dakota. The military support that we have right now, it seems as though I've been hearing a lot about it being the budget being underfunded over the past few years and it needing to be built back. Is the military prepared for a conflict, and is this administration up to the task?
It could handle a single conflict in a single region, and it would take everything that we have. Right now, the average age of fighter aircraft in the Air Force is 31 years. Air Force pilots, on average, across the force, only fly about 1 to 1.5 times a week, if you can imagine that. Our Navy is actually going to continue to shrink. We used to have about 560 or so ships. We're now down to 296. And over the next 5 years, will shrink further to 280. So though some of these ships are very new, they can only be at one place at one time. And if you lose one, it's a proportionally larger loss because you have a small fleet to begin with. So we just don't have the budget to train appropriately for our pilots and sailors and soldiers, et cetera, to do the things on a daily, weekly basis they need to do to be competent in larger scale warfare. And I think the trends are in the negative direction. I mean, if the defense budget is increasing in real terms by 2% over last year, but you're running 8% inflation, right, then each one of those dollars buys fewer and fewer bullets or less and less fuel, for your equipment. So it's, again, we haven't had to think about big war in 3 decades. And we're seeing the consequences now of letting things erode because, big powers are going to do big things and you can't predict it. But when they do happen, you just don't have time to make up lost years of underinvestment.
Yeah, you have to be prepared. And that's my concern. Yeah. Dakota, a pleasure to speak with you again. We look forward to having you back soon to talk more. This doesn't seem like it's going away anytime soon.
Yeah, it'll be around. God bless and take care.
God bless you as well. Senior Research Fellow for Defense Programs at the Heritage Foundation, Dakota Wood. When you think about the midterms that are coming up here, midterm elections are right around the corner, and you are considering all of the different things that are plaguing your life on a regular basis. Think about that underfunded military, and then think about who passes the budget, and then vote accordingly. 203 days from today is the midterms. And if you're counting, 931 days until 2024 election. I've got that. I got that countdown now here too. They're important to know, right? 203 days until the midterms. We can make a massive barricade stop sign from the insanity of things that this administration has been trying to put in place. Become, yes, obstructionist, because if you're going to obstruct bad stuff, that's good obstruction. And 931 days. At least we're in the 3 digits.
Yeah.
It's going to be a long time. Let's take a quick break. Huge news yesterday. Coming around, released right around this time yesterday. That mask mandate on transportation? Nope, says the federal judge who was appointed by Donald Trump and confirmed under Republican Senate. Big stuff, and people rejoiced. And guess what? If you love your mask and you want to wear it, you can still wear it. Still totally okay with that. And I'd be happy to give you all of my masks so you don't have to even pay for new ones. Eric Schmidt, the Attorney General for the state of Missouri, to react to that. I'm going to ask him about some local schools that were talking about putting masks back on those kiddos. Maybe they could go to school in a plane so they'd have a choice. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
All mixed up, you don't know what to do. Next thing you turn around.
97.1 is St. Louis's radio destination for information with perspective. It's where St. Louis and beyond comes to talk. Right here, right now. This is 97.1 FM Talk.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Surprise! Surprise! You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
This is a great time of the year to upgrade the energy efficiency in your home with my friends at Window World. Mark Cox here to tell you more about my experience with Window World. They replaced a couple of windows at my house. They were just panes of glass. We wanted to be able to get some airflow into the master bathroom. They came out, they gave us a free estimate, and then had the windows at seams installed in no time. Very professional, lifetime warranty I get, and you get an extra double strength glass on their replacement windows that's not common. So you're getting a great price, simply the best for less. They do front entry doors, rear entry doors if you're looking to replace that back door or sliding glass door in your home. They've got a great selection at Window World. They're also right now offering 18 months, same as cash financing, of course, with approved credit. The preferred window of the St. Louis Blues. 314-993-1800, windowworld.com.
If your business has accounting problems, you probably have tax problems. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm in St. Louis. Running a small business is tough, and it's no surprise that companies that don't keep good books often run into tax issues. If you don't fix your accounting problems, you could be doomed to land in the same tax pitfalls every year. Call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. I can help you get out of tax trouble and stay out. If your small business doesn't have a CPA or accountant, I can help you find one. And if you already have one, I work closely with them to resolve your tax problems quickly. Make no mistake, if the numbers don't add up, the IRS will catch it. Fix your accounting and tax problems before they snowball with help from the Lance Drury Law Firm. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. Call attorney Lance Drury, 314-260-6120, or go to Lance, DRURYlaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Can't stop, addicted to the shindig. Chop top, it says I'm gonna win big. Choose not to like the
much-hated mask mandate on the plane and on the train has been tossed out moments ago in Florida. A federal judge blocked the Biden administration's mandate for airlines and other public transportation, including a nationwide injunction. Now, the administration extended the mask mandate until May 3rd. It is not clear whether an appeal will be filed to allow the mandate to stay in place. We have reached out to the White House for comment.
Bill Hemmer and Fox News making that announcement yesterday. That news broke about 24 hours ago. And since that news has broken, we've seen a lot of the private companies that are in charge of the airlines around the country saying, sorry, this mask mandate's not in place anymore. If you so choose, you may remove your mask, which means that if you so choose, you may leave your mask on your face. So you get to do what you want to do. It almost sounds American. Let's talk to Eric Schmidt, the Attorney General of the state of Missouri, about this specific issue and a few other things. Eric, welcome back to the show. Always a pleasure to have you here.
Great to be with you. I love the intro song. Happy afternoon.
Yes, no kidding. Let me ask you about the federal judge who made this ruling, and tell me about the legalese behind how this federal judge got to make this ruling that effectively changes the course of how Americans travel now across the country.
Well, so basically the basis of that decision that the judge entered is similar to the rationale that's been used on other cases that, like the OSHA vaccine mandate that we brought, right? That we won at the Supreme Court on. Missouri was the first state to file. Essentially, the claims are that the agency, doesn't have the power to do it in the first place, or they didn't have, notice and comment period, which means basically they get comments from the public and they weigh the pros and cons, or that it's arbitrary and capricious. All that sort of like legal terminology, but did they follow the right process and did they weigh this thing appropriately? And the judge said yesterday the CDC did not do that. And so it's a big win, obviously. The mask mandates on planes, trains and other public transportation was kind of one of the last vestiges of this COVID authoritarianism that we've seen over the last couple of years. And, it's like you said in the intro, we're back to a place we always have been and we should be moving forward and never go back. Is people can make these decisions themselves. You want to go on a plane and wear a mask? God bless it. It's America. But, the filtration in planes is superior. I mean, the air quality in airplanes, that's the science. It's just like when you talk about forced masking kids. If you actually look at the science and the data, it does not support forced masking. It's all been about virtue signaling and power and control. And so that's why it was a big win yesterday in the federal court.
We're speaking with the Missouri Attorney General, Eric Schmidt. Is there a possibility, do you see there being a possibility that mask mandates come back into play? Because this was kind of the last stand, as I understood it, for Americans.
I do. I think the left is obsessed with this because to them, this was their way of saying they were in charge and that they were doing something. And then there's also the whole virtue signaling, I care more than you kind of stuff that's been happening too. But I don't think it's going away. I think you still see them fighting back on the very clear evidence that masks don't work, for example, or they're ineffective. They still push back on that point. You see Fauci on TV last week talking about lockdowns. He said the quiet part out loud, which was it was their attempt to get more people vaccinated. Well, that is, again, people can choose to be vaccinated or not be vaccinated, but shutting down businesses, destroying livelihoods, destroying kids' educational futures because you're trying to get some result. That is what authoritarian regimes do, and not in this country. And so, again, I think people, by and large, are waking up. I think some of the reactions you saw on social media yesterday when they made the announcement, people have had enough of this stuff. And so, again, this was one of those last pieces. But I don't think this is in the ash heap of history yet. I think they're going to keep trying, and we got to keep pushing back and win. And these elections will be very important too, I think, in November to send, we saw school board elections, some people won, which is good, who were opposing these things. I think candidates, this ought to be a very important issue for voters to weigh, which is how outspoken, how out in front, what's their position on these kinds of forced vaccine mandates and forced mask mandates. And I think people have had enough, like I said.
I want to read to you from here locally, a KMOV report out of Webster Groves. The Webster Groves School District announced students and staff at Hickson Middle School will wear masks for the next 2 weeks after a rise in COVID-19 cases. You've been a strong advocate for getting masks off of kids, or to, allow this idea of mask choice to take place in schools where parents can make those decisions with their kids or for their kids, obviously based on the age of the student. But according to this KMOV report from April 14th, the Webster Groves School Board previously decided it would temporarily impose a mask mandate if a school's population exceeded a 1.5% positivity rate, which is about 16 cases. The total population of students and staff at Hickson Middle School is 1,094 people. I'm curious about this specific case at a local middle school here, where that mask requirement has been put back into play. And for parents who are looking around, it's only at this one school in the school district. How can this mask requirement be put into place at this middle school? And what should parents who are frustrated about this do?
They need to reach out to the school board members. But, I've been made aware of this. We were watching this very closely. I'm not going to tolerate, as the Attorney General, these mask mandates going back into place. And so our cease and desist letter that we had sent out made very clear that school districts do not have the authority from the General Assembly. It's never been delegated to them to force masking, or, by the way, to force quarantine of healthy kids.
Right. And
that's what we were seeing, right? It was 14 days or 10 days out of school because you had close contact, even though you had no symptoms. I mean, this stuff, again, is nuts. They've never had that kind of authority. So, rest assured, we're not going to let this stand. And this is what I'm talking about. I don't think these mandates are over. I think there's people that are still focused on, having their will exerted and imposed on others, a force that people can make these decisions. So I think what the Webster School Board is on the spot now is this a policy they really want to have? Was this something that they just didn't unwind? But if it is something obviously they're moving forward with, it's got my attention, and it should have the attention of parents.
Do local school boards have the authority to say this is the rubric we're going to use to go into mask required, and this is when we can take? Do school boards on a local level have this authority?
They do not.
Then how come?
They do not.
Then how are they doing this?
Well, basically, they had a policy in place that was null and void, right? Essentially, it was not in effect, and so we still have cases outstanding in certain circuits across the state with some school districts to make this abundantly clear, to settle this issue once and for all. By the way, the legislature's in session, and they could further clarify the law. Now, I don't know if they're going to do it. They hear from a lot of school administrators. It'd be good for the legislators to hear from real people, because these administrators want to hold on to this perceived authority that they have. They don't have it under state law, which is what the basis of our legal actions have been. And in the case of Webster Groves, which is why, ultimately we're going to be moving forward against them again if this is really the policy that they have, or this is just something that was a vestige that they don't intend to act on. But I tend to think, based on what we know in the last 24 hours, this is, intentional, and they don't have the authority under the law to do it. And like I said, I'm not going to hesitate to pull the trigger to go after them, but parents can show up to school board meetings. Parents can contact their legislators. There's a lot of things for people to do to object to this. This is the only instance that we're aware of so far right now, because most school districts, well, all of them have essentially backed away once we started filing litigation. So we've had a lull, and if they're coming back, we're going to come back at them.
And it's so frustrating to think that I've got kids, if we were in the public school system, I send my kids to Lutheran schools, but if I were in the public school system, we'd probably have kids in at least 3 different buildings. That only the middle school is going to be the one that's going to quarantine, because if it's as dangerous as they suggest it is, or mask or whatever, I've got kids that could be exposed and they'd be everywhere, but you're just going to stick this requirement on the middle school. It doesn't make sense.
Well, and that's why this stuff is not science-based. It's nonsense. This is about somebody, creating an arbitrary number here. These kids are interacting with sleepovers and on sports teams, and this idea that
just being
forcing
kids.
the kid to wearing in a middle school, and somehow that's shielding people from the spread, is ridiculous. And I think all this stuff has been exposed now as witchcraftery. I mean, it's not a thing, and the science doesn't support it, but they're holding on to it, right? They're holding on to it so they can say, we're going to do this to protect you. And by the way, that's what tyrants have done since the beginning of time, which is to exert their power and claim that they're protecting the public while they take their liberty away.
Yeah, I for one would like to see you make an example out of them, but we'll wait and see what happens next. I want to ask you before I let you go about next week. You've got a very busy week next week. You're going to be back in front of the Supreme Court. Tell me about your advocacy for securing our border, since the administration doesn't seem to have the same interest.
Yeah, I think I was on last week, Annie, to talk about, or the week before, about our Title 42 lawsuit. Missouri was one of 3 states, with Texas and Louisiana, to file suit on Title 42, which accounts for about 50% of the expulsions of illegal immigrants in this country. So we're about to see a tidal wave of illegal immigration, 18,000 a day. That's what's anticipated if he's successful. So we brought that lawsuit. One lawsuit we were successful on earlier was the Remain in Mexico case. We wanted the Supreme Court on the injunction phase, which essentially President Trump's policy said, if you're seeking asylum, Mexico's the waiting room. You're not going to get released into the interior of the United States and never be seen again. That's what Joe Biden did. We wanted the Supreme Court. We've been fighting with them in the lower courts to actually implement it. The feds have brought that back to the Supreme Court. It's being heard Monday. So the whole kit and caboodle, the whole shooting match is on Monday on the Remain in Mexico policy. We won before. We're hopeful we're going to win again. But as I've said, every state's a border state. All the fentanyl, all the human trafficking, all the drug trafficking doesn't stop in El Paso. It ends up in St. Louis, and in Kansas City, and in Cape Girardeau, and tipped in Missouri, everywhere. So that's why I've been so interested in pressing this forward. This is a wrong-headed decision. It's a man-made disaster by Joe Biden, and we'll be back in the Supreme Court on that issue Monday. Yeah. I'm sorry, Tuesday.
Well, we will be following it for sure, and looking forward to following up with you after, hopefully, the good news that you had the last time you were there. We'd like to celebrate that with you also. Thank you for keeping up that fight, and thanks for coming on with us again today. It's great to have you back.
Good to be with you, Annie.
We'll talk to you again soon. The Attorney General for the state of Missouri, that's Eric Schmidt, going back in front of the Supreme Court next week with Texas. Man, Texas and Missouri and Florida. Wish I could put Illinois in that list. But which one of these is not like the other?
Keep the faith. We'll get there.
The faith, or potentially the delusion. I know so many people right now who are running in the state of Illinois who are really, really good options for Illinois voters to get the state on the right track. I do feel actually hopeful for this election, that if we can get just a strong injection of some common sense in the state legislature, in the governor's mansion. I say the governor's mansion, but Pritzker either is in Chicago or in his Wisconsin horse farm. Or you remember when he left the state of Illinois when we were under lockdown,
Had to go feed the
went to
horses.
Wisconsin. He's going to say, someone's going to take care of the horses. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? How dumb could we possibly be?
The richest politician in the history of the United States doesn't pay somebody to take care of his horses.
J.B. Pritzker is not taking care of horses.
No.
I have a feeling he's not even riding the horses. It's just a feeling. Let's go to break. Ryan Wiggins is going to come back in here and hopefully not talk about that. Lots to come here in the 2:00 hour as well. I'm going to talk a little bit more about my week off and what I did and how that all went. Some fun things to talk about. And I'm going to talk with the rest of you. Make sure you come on to the Annie Frey YouTube channel right now and vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Is Trump's endorsement an asset or liability to win for candidates running in the 2022 midterms? I need to know if his endorsement is good for a victory in the midterms, because certainly the endorsement might be good for a single individual person and their brand. I understand that. I'm more concerned about what's good for the country, not for any of these individual people running. Is it an asset or a liability? We'll talk a little bit about that here around the corner, and we need your votes on the live chat on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. We'll be back in a minute. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
The Mark Ribbon Show. Congressman Joey Long, the CDC's job is limited by Congress. You can't just go out, if you're the federal agency, and order something that's outside the scope of your authority.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
I'm Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group.
I'm proud to say we are a family business. Through innovative financial tools, my nephew Bob and I are committed to making sure your retirement nest egg is kept safe from market declines. As a matter of fact, we have never lost a dime of our clients' money, and we won't lose any of yours either.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, and the secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. As we look ahead at the likelihood of increasing volatility in the market, it's important that you protect your nest egg from market losses, as that's the engine that drives your retirement income.
Our family would like to help your family retire comfortably and keep your retirement safe and secure. Call us now for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of my second edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees retire with confidence for 36 years. Call us now, 314-993-9494, or online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
This is Andy Berg, board-certified master arborist with Hanson's Tree Service. Maintaining healthy trees in our urban environment is a challenge, and our trees often don't perform how we'd like. Go to hansonstree.com to find out how we can service your trees today.
Updating your home with James Hardie Siding has never been more popular. With all of the options available, you need a partner to maximize your investment. The rising prices on vinyl siding has made Hardie Siding a great alternative. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today.
Frederick Roofing, wherever you live, from Bridgeton to Baldwin, Brentwood to Kirkwood, St. Anne to St. Charles, wherever you live. Hazelwood to Maplewood, the name you know. Frederick Roofing, wherever you go. Or a hole in your roof, or a whole new roof. Frederick Roofing.
St. Louis, 314-645-2000.
Frederick is the gold standard for roofing and perhaps priced a bit lower than other bonded and insured roofers. When you invest money into fixing a hole in your roof or putting on a whole new roof, you want the peace of mind that you'll get only with Frederick Roofing. Plus, you can always depend on an immaculate cleanup when the job has been completed by Frederick's own licensed and insured crews.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof. Frederick Roofing. Frederick Roofing, 645-2000.
A decorated combat veteran, Richard Irvin fought America's enemies in Desert Storm. He put gangbangers, drug dealers, and wife-beaters behind bars as a prosecutor. Pritzker's money, Madigan's machine, they don't scare Richard Irvin. Never have. When Richard ran for mayor of Illinois' second-largest city, Mike Madigan campaigned against him. Madigan lost. Now Richard Irvin says, Governor Pritzker's next.
I'm Richard Irvin. There's nothing the left fears more than Republicans who look like me and think like us. That all lives matter. That cops should be defended, not defunded. That handouts keep people down. But maybe that's what liberal politicians want. And I'm their worst nightmare. Their days are numbered. Madigan's under indictment. We've got Pritzker running scared because Illinoisans have had enough of politicians picking our pockets to line their own. I'm Richard Irvin. Let's take back our state.
Pass term limits, end corruption. Richard Irvin for governor. Paid for by Irvin for Illinois.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studios. Get in your comfort zone with a new HVAC system. Double carrier cool cash rebates for a total of $143 are available on qualifying new HVAC systems. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Back in the car and back on the road. We're with you. Dependable traffic with Sue Thomas. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
Sun coming up over New York City. School bus driver.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I've
Follow
never
Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
been more happy to have the segment start. Little extra research going on here by one Ryan Wiggins, finding out stuff I do not want to know.
You can tell Wiggins is back in the room.
Man, it's interesting stuff.
Do you feel a resurgence of energy? Or is it just the copious amounts of caffeine you've consumed?
No, yeah, I have drank so much caffeine today that during my Wiggins America segment, I was shaking.
Were you nervous because I was back?
I was nervous and excited all at the same time. I call it knighted. That's what we call it. Nervous and excited. We call it being knighted. And I'm still drinking. I'm still drinking a Dr. Pepper. So this show is going to be great.
You were originally bringing me a gift in between every segment, but then that stopped.
This is your gift, but I'm drinking it. From KFC.
The first thing he brought me was a, 32 ounce fountain diet Mountain Dew. And he just came in and set it down and walked away. And then when he came back in the next time with a card, Brad said, wasn't that Diet Mountain Dew from Trisha? And he was like, well, yeah, but I'm like, you didn't tell me that.
All of it's technically from Trisha. We had to funnel all the gift ideas through Trisha. But Brad, did we not have a meeting yesterday in Trisha's office about this?
Yeah, it took about 2.5 hours.
It was most of our day. We did more meeting about your birthday yesterday than we did show.
I'm sorry. You did not need to do that.
And we came up with, we should get her a Diet Mountain Dew from the gas station.
Yeah.
I said practicality is my lane.
I need to get credit because I brought that in before a segment I wasn't on. So I'm still 2 for 2.
I wondered why you were in here.
Yeah. So after this segment, then I owe you another.
I'm glad that I played it cool and wasn't like, why are you in here?
Mm-hmm.
To give you a gift. Oh.
Yeah. Normally when I walk in, she's like,
what are you doing?
She glares at me and then the F word.
I don't say that word. Farts.
She's a lot like Peyton Manning with rookie wide receivers that like don't catch the pass.
Mhm.
Like she just looks at him and points.
Yeah. And normally I'm not
to the sideline.
I'm not,
like a disappointed dad kind of a feel.
I don't have enough boldness to come and do that, but I was so loaded up on that caffeine. I was like, here, you should be too.
You're not really a bold person, but you're kind of like unaware.
Mm-hmm.
Which
yeah,
can
I'm oblivious.
sometimes be
it's its own kind of boldness.
He just doesn't know he's being bold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Am I wrong?
No. Ryan strikes me as a guy who can like be walking down the street and accidentally find himself in the middle of a protest.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you know what? I actually, listen to this. Last time I went to Disney World, which was a year ago, so pre all this stuff happening, I was walking with my son and we were like, oh, he's fast like me. So we just want to get to the rides. We don't care about all the.
Wait. What? He's fast.
He's
like
fast.
You?
I'm a fast walker.
Like me.
I'm known for being a very fast walker.
This seems boastful.
No.
Is this something you learned during your TV career?
No. Me and the Clooneys and the Depps don't sit around talking about how
Johnny
fast
Depp
we
is
walk.
over your shoulder right now.
I know.
On
That's
trial.
why he's in my thoughts and prayers right now. Personally.
What about
I'm
the
texting
woman
him.
who's stone cold killer looking next to her?
Is that Amber Heard?
I don't know. I don't know anything about this. I can't believe that it's like that anybody do we care? I don't even know what they're.
There's allegations of abuse.
Yeah.
From her to him.
But this is the defamation suit.
I don't know what that means, Brad.
I know this is not what we're talking about, but at the same time, they're actors. I don't believe anything they say.
Yeah.
They're good actors.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Ugh, not as good as you.
I mean, once you get to know them, you're like, oh, some of that's not even an act.
Oh my gosh. Let's go back to where you're a super fast.
So anyway, we're through Disney and we don't care about all this stuff. I'd ask him, you want to stop and watch these shows? You know, the guys banging on the drums and trash cans and stuff like that. It's fun to watch. And he's like,
is this a homeless shelter or is this Disney?
Oh yeah, this is this is outside the studio here. I forgot. So I get mixed up between downtown St. Louis and Disney World.
Different protests that I walked into.
Yeah. So we're
that
walking.
Might be the case soon if DeSantis gets it.
Really fast. And we're just trying to get through and there's a big crowd because the parade's happening. Okay, whatever.
Really fast.
Yeah. We try to get from ride to ride. Boom, 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 boom. We're trying to knock them out. And I realize we have walked into a clearing. We're like, oh, this is great because there's a lot of open space here. We are now in the parade. We are in the Disney parade, literally walking right behind Mickey's convertible.
Did anybody tackle you?
They did.
I bet.
They really got on. I mean, it took them a few minutes to realize.
Who are these?
Like, wait a minute, because we're just waving.
People.
I'm like, son, just wave, man. Just
Did you
wave.
sign an autograph?
Own this. I didn't sign any autographs, but I was waving and people were waving back. So I'm like, well, this is kind of fun.
That's ridiculous.
That did just happen. I took pictures of it because I'm like, nobody's going to believe this happened.
Host of Wiggins America.
Were you carrying a Wiggins America sign?
I should have been. I should have worn the shirt.
6 to 8 a.m. on Saturdays in St. Louis. You can listen on the Odyssey app.
People were pointing at me as much as Mickey. They're like, that's Wiggins. He's on in St. Louis.
Were they yelling, that man, get that man?
The workers eventually did. No kidding. They were like, they turned at one point because I think they were looking forward because, they're walking right behind the convertible. So we were right behind them. So they're looking forward and they're realizing that people are waving, but they're waving just behind Mickey a little bit. And so I think they saw that and turned and were like, wait a minute.
How can you be so oblivious to not understand that you're in a parade at Disney?
I figured it out after we were in it, but we didn't know we had walked into it.
Which park?
Hollywood. So right down the old boulevard there. Right past the
Were
main.
You being like escorted by stormtroopers?
Yeah, they were wearing those old.
Did someone come up and say this is not the way?
They was wearing those like turn of the security guards or whoever they were wearing those like turn of the century like American flag hats, little derby things, and they're walking. They're kind of part of the parade, but they're really the security. So they look back and they realize we're right behind them, and their only words to us were "Whoa!" And so we went, oh, yeah. Oh, shoot. What did we do wrong? We didn't even know, But at that point, we totally did know. But
was your son embarrassed?
He didn't care. He was realizing the same thing I was,
So
which
he's
is
like you,
it's
not
just
his
like
mother.
it's just like if you see an ambulance going through traffic, being one of those jerks that gets right behind the ambulance because you're going to roll right through all the traffic. We did that inadvertently. Oh, what's that look for? You do that, don't you?
I would be more inclined to do. Well, I wouldn't like take advantage of the situation, but someone's got to be the first.
Oh, really? What would you call that? Not taking advantage of the situation?
Driving on the highway. If you're not in front of the ambulance, then how long is the lane off limits?
I think you're fine as long as you don't put your hazard flashers on and tailgate them.
It's not like I'm behind him honking my horn to get out of the way.
Ryan, it's like football. You just get yourself a blocker and you head for the end zone.
No. I disagree. I think you got to let that thing go through and then let traffic return to normal. Don't take advantage of it.
Somebody has to be first. Who commandeered a parade in Hollywood studios now has standards when it comes to traffic.
Look, if you happen to find yourself behind the ambulance, then shoot, okay, I guess
that's what I'm saying.
No, you're saying that somebody's got to be the first, and I'm going to be the first.
If it's there and the timing is right.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like an accident. Mine was a true accident. Oh my gosh, we're in a parade. Let's just enjoy ourselves.
You're just oblivious. You just don't understand that you're in a parade. Holy cow.
Welcome back, Annie.
Oh my gosh. Where are the rest of my gifts?
Oh, yeah, they're coming.
That half-drink Diet Coke now?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Diamonds are April's birthstone, but any time is a good time for diamonds. And when you give the gift of diamonds, it's truly a thrill. Visit Shane Company for stunning gifts. Find jewelry that's so exquisite and beautiful, it'll take her breath away. We've designed gorgeous styles in every price range, including diamond earrings, necklaces, rings, and bracelets. Our diamonds are natural, and since no two are alike, your piece will be one of a kind, a symbol as unique as she is. Shane Company jewelry is crafted to the highest standards, set with diamonds we hand-select for beauty and hand-match for consistency. In fact, we make our jewelry with such care, we're able to offer a free lifetime warranty. Come in and chat with our friendly and knowledgeable team of non-commissioned jewelry consultants. We'll make it fun to find a diamond gift, something solely for her enjoyment that will last forever.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
Hey guys, it's the new year. Are you still struggling with erectile dysfunction? I've yet to meet anyone that enjoys timing those intimate moments around a pill. Well, now you don't have to. The advanced wave technology at Pineview Medical has been shown by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic to restore and even regrow blood vessels. It can improve circulation and eliminate erectile dysfunction. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, call us in the next 2 minutes and you'll receive a consultation, assessment, and blood flow ultrasound free, plus a special gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. You're going to love that. Trust me. This is a $600 value, free to callers now. 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Guys, get rid of your ED and get that spark back. Call Pineview Medical now to qualify. 314-530-7777.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-826-9895. That's 800-826-9895. 800-826-9895.
The following is furnished by Retirement Planners of America. Past performance is no guarantee of future results.
The stock market has seen all-time highs this past year, but are we due for a crash? If so, does your retirement plan include an exit strategy? Call today at 866-374-0841 to schedule a free retirement assessment to learn about protecting your assets from a market collapse. That's 866-374-0841. 866-374-0841.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
Keeping an eye on current and future pandemics. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. The government is launching an early warning system for health threats.
Similar to the National Weather Service's Storm Prediction Mission, the Center for Forecasting and Outbreak Analytics is tasked with predicting the course of the COVID-19 pandemic and future pandemics. Leaders say responding to COVID has been hampered by data collection, and the CDC says it needs better access to data from state governments and local hospitals. The new facility is housed at the CDC and has an initial $200 million in funding. $21 million has been awarded to academic institutions to develop modeling and forecasting methods.
Fox's Jared Halpern in Washington. Major airlines and many airports have dropped mask requirements after a Florida judge struck down the CDC mandate. Ride-sharing firms Uber and Lyft also announcing masks would be optional. Many commuter systems have followed suit and dropped the requirement that passengers wear face coverings. An Orlando amusement park attraction may have been altered before a teen fell more than 100 feet to his death last month.
State investigators say the operators of Orlando's Icon Park made adjustments to the freefall drop tower ride before 14-year-old Tyree Sampson would try riding it. It led the ride attendant to believe the teenager was secured in his seat when he wasn't. Michael Haggard is the teen's mother's attorney.
She's on a mission to make sure this never happens to another child.
The top-down restraint didn't close properly over the tall and bulky teen, though an indicator light did come on to suggest it was attached.
Fox's Evan Brown. Russia has ratcheted up its battle for control of Ukraine's eastern industrial heartland, intensifying assaults on cities and towns along today in what officials on both sides described as a new phase of the war. America's listening to Fox News.
I tend to second-guess dinners with friends because they're often interrupted by diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or oily stools. It turns out I have EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, which means I'm missing the enzymes needed to digest food. My doctor prescribed Creon, pancrelipase, an oral prescription medication that replaces pancreatic digestive enzymes. Creon treats EPI due to cystic fibrosis, chronic pancreatitis, pancreatectomy, or other conditions.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you're allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon.
Creon is the #1 prescribed EPI treatment. Ask your doctor about Creon for EPI and visit Creon.com or call 800-633-9110 to learn more. That's CREON.com.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The non-spring feel continues this afternoon, the high in the mid-50s, but at least it's pretty out there, partly to mostly sunny skies. Lots of clouds moving in quickly tonight. 45 for the overnight low. Wednesday, a front settling in. Kind of gets stuck just to our south, with periods of showers Wednesday, a couple of non-severe thunderstorms and windy, 62 up to 72 on Thursday, 80 on Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Missouri Senate race is the focus of national attention, and 97.1 and the Mark Cox Morning Show invite you to meet one of the candidates. Vicky Hartzler will be at 18 North Central in O'Fallon this Wednesday. Join us and Mark Cox to ask Vicky Hartzler questions as part of the 97.1 Senate Speaker Series. Decision 2022 is here. Vicky Hartzler at 18 North Central Wednesday night at 7. No reservations required. Get all the details at 971talk.com.
There are a lot of smart business people out there making smart decisions by getting Rhino Shield. The latest one, the Central Illinois Care Services, they have decided to go with Rhino Shield on the outside of their building so they won't have to worry about maintenance from now on. The list is long. Joe's Tire out in Sullivan, Stonehill Wineries in Herman. They've all got Rhino Shield on their buildings. You can have it on your business or your house. Just call 877-25-RHINO. Let Darren come out and give you a free estimate as to what it would cost to get this great product on your home. 25-year transferable warranty, 100% waterproof, 8 to 10 times thicker than paint. And as a satisfied customer, 15 years in, I can tell you it looks as good as the day they put it on. You're going to love Rhino Shield. Call them right now. Tell them you heard about it on the Mark Cox Morning Show. Again, 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet store. Do you feel like you have a hard time standing on your feet at work because of foot pain? When you come home at night, do you want to kick off your shoes because your feet are killing you?
It didn't matter whether I spent $20 or whether I spent $120. You know, you might have a great shoe, but you just don't have great support in the shoe.
Good Feet fits in all your shoes. No shots, no surgery, no medication. Good Feet.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Deerbergs.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort you might have been missing for years. No waiting required. Good Feet products are immediately available.
Get ready for the Fresh Picked Pricing Event at Diamonds Direct, April 29th, 30th, and May 1st. A spectacular 3-day store-wide sale. Get Diamonds Direct's already unbeatable value price, plus an extra 20% off virtually everything. All wedding bands, earrings, pendants, bracelets, and of course, thousands of engagement rings. Plus, our top designers are flying in with their entire collections just for you. It's the jewelry event of the spring, April 29th, 30th, and May 1st only, and only at Diamonds Direct. Details and more at diamondsdirect.com.
Worried about what you're breathing in? With each breath, allergens, germs, and viruses get trapped in your nose. Now there's a simple, easy, and effective way to clean your nose and protect your health. It's called Navage, Navage. Available at Navage.com.
Tony LaRussa here. Men, are you running out of stamina rounding third base? If so, call my friends at Victory Men's Health in O'Fallon, Illinois. Scoring at home is important, just as important as crossing the plate with the winning run. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
Want to listen to 97.1 outside the listening area? There's an app for that. Download the Odyssey app, and one tap will turn the station on. The Odyssey app for 97.1 FM Talk. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by The Loading Dock. Riverviews, outdoor dining, live music, and overnight accommodations. The Loading Dock on the river in Grafton, Illinois.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
It's 2:08. Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy to have you here. Hannah's in the studio with us, as well as Trisha. Hi, guys. Thanks for being here. Ladies, excuse me.
Hi, Annie. Welcome back.
Thanks. Did everything go okay without me being here last week?
Yeah, all things considered.
Can I take another week off?
Yes, in a few weeks. We need you back for a while.
I don't have any vacations in the near future, for people who are wondering about that. Thank you for all of the stuff you folks have been giving me, Ryan. You really outdid yourself.
You're welcome.
Ryan really stepped up.
The problem is that I set the bar so darn high every year that it's hard to beat it.
The last gift you gave me was a T-shirt that had Obama looking like Che Guevara on it.
That's right. It was from China.
I know.
Not made in China,
No,
like from China.
She tells me the story every time.
Yep, I do.
What was I supposed to do with that shirt? Like when you gave me that gift, you saw that and you're like, Annie would love this.
I think you would go, okay, now into the donation bin. Because what do you do with that? There's no...
And you thought this would make an amazing gift. I think Annie would donate this. Here you go. Happy Christmas.
I think if I told you the China part, I probably also told you that I actually got that at a White Elephant party.
Eventually.
Yeah. So I chose that. That was such a terrible White Elephant gift exchange that was the best gift they had.
So you regifted it?
So I grabbed it to regift it.
He got the worst gift at a White Elephant gift exchange.
No, that was the best one.
And thought Annie would donate this. And so he regifted me the worst gift that he got, thinking that I would then donate it.
Let me ask you a question. Where is that shirt now?
I think I threw it away.
Okay, all right. That's fine.
I didn't know what to do with it. I kept moving it around.
Well, I mean, you got that dumpster.
I think I actually might have went into the dumpster because I didn't know what to do it. Like I cannot. I have the studio that I broadcast from home for almost 2 years, but I can't display that in my studio next to Mickey Mouse, my sign that says Grace wins, and a Donald Trump bobblehead.
I really love. So you're finding a trend here that I didn't even know existed, but you're pointing it out. I love getting
Wait,
people
let's go back
gifts.
to the last segment where we talking about how oblivious you were,
Yeah.
and how you ended up in a Disney parade without knowing it.
Yes. No, we shouldn't. You just rewind. Get the Odyssey app. There you go. There's a mention.
Mark it down.
Mark
Brad.
it. So I love getting people gifts that do genuinely cost me time or money, but that they can do absolutely nothing with.
It is the epitome of Ryan Wiggins right there.
Yes. I got somebody a senior gift, a girl that I went to school with. It was either her graduation gift or a birthday gift. I don't remember which. And I got it for her. It was a $10 gift card to this super expensive luggage store.
Trisha.
But why?
It made me laugh. It was great. What are you going to do with
You
that?
realize that's
I
a
don't
gift
know.
for
What are we
you.
gonna do with
That's
that
not a
information?
gift. This is not a way to show people that you care.
She had a good time.
Did
I
she
think.
laugh?
I don't know.
What'd she do?
I don't remember. I had a really good time, though. I think she did.
Oh.
But hey, today, it's not about me. It is about you, Annie.
One day a
It is
year
about
I get on my own
celebrating
show.
And all of these extravagant desserts.
I can smell the sugar in the room right now.
I can too.
literally can smell it. Thanks
soda.
for the cake. Ryan, did you bake this cake yourself?
I didn't.
Did you acquire this cake?
Now, I'm not blasting whoever got the cake because I didn't get the cake. The person who got it might be in this room. I don't even know.
So
I don't
you're
know.
criticizing the person who's not you for something about this birthday cake that you had no part in getting.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yes, that's what he's about to do.
According to the meeting that Brad and I had yesterday with Trisha,
They called. It was very time consuming.
we thought we were getting you an ice cream cake. Now, this doesn't appear to be an ice cream cake. I don't know whose fault
A
that is.
delicious cake.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. But whoever's fault it is.
Whoever went to pick the cake up was afraid that once said cake was transferred to Brian's hands, it would melt if it was ice cream. So,
because we're so hot.
Yeah, because we're hot. That's what I was going to say.
So whoever it was that picked up the cake had an ice cream cake in their hands and thought,
Ice
these
cream
guys
cake
can't
is
handle it.
not for the radio. We can't sit here and eat the cake.
We can't
while
eat anything while we're talking.
I know. So you cut up ice cream cake and put it in front of everyone, and we just sit here and talk while it melts.
We literally just did a whole break eating ice cream like 2 weeks ago with you.
It was terrible. It was terrible radio.
But it was your idea.
It was bad. I regretted it. The
I
ice cream.
don't.
The ice cream experience was good. I
No.
went home thinking that was not the best radio we've ever done.
We should have duplicated. That's all I'm saying.
It would be like you, though, to buy an ice cream cake that you would cut up and hand out to everyone so they could watch it melt while they did their jobs. You know what would be funny?
Those are the best
And then we'll
gifts.
turn the heat up.
Yeah.
So it melts super fast.
That ice cream cake would have been like, I can't be touched by the Brian. They're too hot.
The Brian.
I'm just
The Brian.
I'm
Here
just gonna
comes Brian.
fall apart.
We get the definite article now.
Yeah. Can't be
The
touched by
Brian.
the Brian.
You guys need a Twitter handle.
Let's see if the
Indeed.
Brian is taken.
Give them relationship advice.
Yeah. Yeah. You got any problems? Come talk to the Brian. The Brian's got you. Brian's hot. Can't even hold that ice cream cake.
I don't even have anything to say. I'm in trouble. I got 45 minutes left of this show.
Why don't you just start eating? We'll just eat for the rest of this 5 minutes.
Oh my gosh. I can think of nothing that I'd like to listen to less.
That's right.
Not a thing. Well,
That's right.
I do appreciate the Diet Mountain Dew. I do appreciate the cookies and the cake and the macarons from Brad. Did you guys see this handmade card? Let's talk. We have Ryan's thought process when he's giving gifts. And then we have this literal homemade birthday card from Brad and his wife Terry. And it's got how do you say it? A cricket? Is that what it's called?
Cricket.
It's got a dead cricket in it?
Yeah.
It's got a dead cricket in it for good luck.
We did not discuss this in the meeting.
No, it's got a microphone on it and a radio, and it looks like a real card. I mean, it is a real card, but I mean, it looks like one you would pay for. Well, not Ryan. He wouldn't pay for it.
Neither would Brad.
That'd
He'd make
probably
it.
be $4 at Walgreens.
At
least.
$4.99.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
But they made this awesome card for me and got me some macarons. And where did you say you got them from?
Sweet Katie B's in O'Fallon. It's downtown.
Ooh.
And I also had the best Americano that I've ever had.
So it's a cafe and bakery.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They do breakfast sandwiches too.
Lovely.
Look, if you're impressed by homemade cards, I'll get 3 of them for you tonight like that.
How about before the show's over?
No.
How about
These are going
while
to
the
be
show
made
is
by
going
my
on?
kids. They're
You
going
don't
to
want
make
them from your kids?
There's a lot of heart that goes into it.
I
That's
have
mean. That's
so many
mean.
homemade kid cards at my house that I'm trying to figure out what to do with.
That's what I'm saying. But you got to keep them because they come right from the heart. They're going to come.
I want a homemade card from you that comes straight from the heart.
I don't have a lot of time. Sounds like work.
This is from Hannah. Where's the?
Do you want me to do? I'll take my Wiggins America sheet while we're in here, and I'll make you a card, Annie.
Here's the birthday card I'm showing on the webcam here. And make sure you go vote right now. The YouTube live chat poll. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. This is the birthday card from the crew. Hope your wishes come true. And this is what Ryan wrote. Hey, Annie, have a great day yesterday.
He means every word.
I know
You're
he
right.
does.
I do. I hope that you had a great day yesterday.
What's your idea? Like, Ryan, what is your idea of the perfect birthday for you?
I mean, just sitting around with people that you love
Shut
around a
up.
soft fire
Oh, lame.
with an ice cream
So
cake.
it's just you sitting around by yourself.
Are you? Whoa! Oh my gosh, that was below the belt. What you just said is nobody loves you, and you spend your birthdays alone.
That's incorrect. What
That
I
is-
just said
no.
is you love yourself
Yes.
a lot.
No, I'm taking it the other way. And I'm writing a card up for you right now.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to get even more heartfelt as the show progresses.
Whoa, I started that H and the A way too far to the left. This is not going to be centered well.
Trisha, your idea of like the perfect birthday?
Good food and family.
So with other people
Yeah,
that you love.
that I love, that aren't Ryan.
So people you love.
Yeah.
Brad?
So barbecue, friends, and then racing go-karts down at the Gateway Kartplex.
Racing go-karts.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a
Midgets?
good one.
No,
What?
just go-karts.
So you have a summer birthday.
Yes.
August.
August.
Ooh.
Mark your calendars.
October. Birthday, Hannah.
Mm-hmm. I agree with Trisha. Good food, family, and friends.
Yeah.
Ryan or no Ryan?
No Ryan.
She said friends, Trisha.
Yeah.
We you know what, Hannah? I don't know if you know this yet, but we came up with a cool new nickname for you.
Okay.
Why? Why?
Ryan came in and he goes, we need a nickname for Hannah. We never even got to why. Why?
Yeah,
Just
why?
because it'd be fun. She
What
seems
if-
like a person who deserves a nickname.
Like in a
Like
good,
just yeah,
like in a
fun.
good deserves way, or
Yeah,
like
what-
deserve?
No,
she really
no, in a
deserved
good
that.
deserves way. In a good, she's like your buddy that everybody's like, hey, there's Scooter. Like,
Scooter?
That guy, oh, everybody calls him Scooter. His name's Paul, but everybody calls him Scooter for no reason. Like that's the guy. Hannah's that girl.
What? What? Why?
Do you know what I picked too?
What?
Boop. Hey, there's Boop. Boop's got a segment coming up. That kind of stuff. Everybody's having a fun time.
I don't even know what to say. When I think
Say
boop,
what you
I
feel.
think of
Speak from the heart, Hannah.
like
boop.
Like
That's what you do to a baby.
or like to your
people
dog's
boop 'em.
nose.
Yes.
You boop your dog.
People literally do that to babies. They can't help
Yeah.
themselves. It's like happening in slow motion. They walk up to Molly and they'll be like, boop.
Does
Oh,
that mean
man.
It's funny to watch.
I
know,
boop
I know.
people or I get booped?
I
What
think
does
you
that
would,
mean?
I think you would get booped.
Okay.
Oh, you can be the booper if you want.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, I can
Am I
go
the
either way.
boopy or the
Two-lane road.
booper?
Doesn't matter. I think once you own Boop, you can really do whatever you want with it. And
Do you
I'm
guys
here
agree
for
with this? Or
She's
what?
not
Is it-
owning it. You're assigning it. It's different.
Yeah.
I'm convincing her that she should own it. She should.
We got a lot of work to
because
do.
we all agree that she should, right?
Wait, what? No.
We do.
I recommended beanbag.
Big what?
Yeah, and can you explain or not? Because there seemed to be more behind that.
So Annie texted me, sent me a DM the other day, and
Oh,
she was
boy.
asking about something, and she's like,
Behind your back,
was that
just
you
so
or
you know.
beanbag? I'm like,
What?
beanbag? She said, my phone auto-corrected Hannah to beanbag.
I don't know why.
So
I
I
don't
think
know if I should be offended or
That was
what.
the phone's fault. No, I quickly corrected it.
I like the idea of you guys calling Hannah beanbag behind the scenes.
yeah, she
Like
didn't know.
behind her back. Like,
Yeah, like so
here
that when
comes
she's in the
beanbag
room,
again.
you can talk about her. She doesn't know you're talking about her.
Now she's gonna know.
She didn't know all of our code stuff.
Booping beanbag. Okay.
So I think you have to pick. You have to pick one of those two.
Those are your options.
What
Yep.
great options I have.
You don't have to pick now. Maybe the people can suggest.
Okay,
things.
Oh, that's
yeah.
a good idea.
We got a YouTube poll for tomorrow.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do.
Boop
Yeah.
beanbag.
All
No
it's gonna
question.
say is
Just
booper
those two
beanbag.
options. That's it.
The YouTube live chat
Wow.
poll right now is Trump's endorsement an asset or liability to win for candidates running in the 2022 midterms? You guys want to talk about that when we come back?
Yes.
How fast can you eat that cake?
Fast. I walk fast. I eat fast.
How many bites? Minimum.
4.
Can you do 3?
Four bites.
Isn't there a game show where like I
Yeah.
can do it in 3?
Oh, I can do it
I
in
should have
3.
said 5. 5. And yes, I can do
I
it in
think
4, Annie.
What's the least amount of bites you could put that cake away in
I could try 3.
on the break
Okay.
on the
All right,
YouTube live?
I'll try 3.
Let's see if the numbers go up or down.
You know what's going to go down though is my dignity.
I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right again, Annie.
Go to break. We'll be right back. Go vote the YouTube poll and watch what happens here next. I gotta wipe the mascara off my face. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. Vicky Hartzler will be at 18 North Central in O'Fallon this Wednesday. Join us and Mark Cox to ask Vicky Hartzler questions as part of the 97.1 Senate Speaker Series. No reservations required. Get all the details at 971talk.com.
If you are looking to make sure your air conditioner is working in great working order as the weather is supposed to get, I think in the 80s possibly this weekend. That is a rumor I heard. I haven't verified that yet. It's supposed to get warmer though, and you're going to want to make sure that the air conditioning in your home is up to par. And you're going to want to make sure you're not paying to run the thing more than you have to because it's not doing the job that it needs to do. Well, Air Comfort Service is there for you. When you reach out to Air Comfort Service, you're going to be working with the best, kindest people in the business right now in St. Louis, both sides of the river. They've been to my home multiple times to fix multiple issues because I trust them and I know that I'm getting the best service when I work with Corey's team at Air Comfort Service. You can have that maintenance done to make sure it's working in ship shape, or if you know that you're going to need a new unit in your home, talk to them about their double carrier cool cash rebates. Air Comfort Service is celebrating their 53rd year of serving the greater St. Louis area, and you can be one of those customers like I am and the Frey family has been by calling 314-513-0091. 314-513-0091. Find them online at aircomfortservice.com.
Find podcasts for your passions on Odyssey.
Like the documentary series Love Thy Neighbor about the 1991 Crown Heights riots.
It was an accident which other people used as an excuse to murder one member of our community.
Or The 11th.
Bringing you true, unexpected stories.
And experience the new podcast movie thriller Ghostwriter.
Starring Kate Mara and Adam Scott.
Maybe it's not a whodunit. If we know who the killer is all along, the real mystery is why.
Find all the podcasts that matter to you in a universe of audio.
Odyssey.
Diabetic neuropathy, cold feet, resting leg pain, foot wounds that don't heal. These are classic signs of peripheral artery disease, or PAD. Left untreated, PAD can lead to gangrene and even lower limb amputation. Modern Vascular is a healthcare leader in the outpatient treatment of PAD. Last year, over 10,000 patients across the country chose Modern Vascular for the diagnosis and treatment of their PAD. Modern Vascular clinics consistently receive high Google review ratings and have received over 500 five-star patient reviews in the last 12 months. In fact, Modern Vascular has been recognized as the best PAD treatment specialist in the country. If you or someone you love is experiencing the symptoms of PAD, don't ignore it. Visit modernvascular.com today or call 844-4PAD-HELP to schedule a consultation in our local clinic. That's 844-4PAD-HELP.
Nobody wants to miss the important things in life, and if it's because of bad vision, you don't have to. Mark Cox here from my friends at Brenton Vision. They can help you out. That's why I want you to take 2 minutes today to call my friends at Brenton at 314-375-2020 or go online to brentonvision.com. Your eyes are as unique as your fingerprint. Since Brenton Vision is the only place in Missouri offering all 7 forms of modern vision correction, they can create a customized treatment plan just for your vision. They helped my wife out. She chose the lens replacement therapy and now sees better than ever, and she loves it. You can have that same experience with Brenton Vision. They accept flex plans and medical spending plans as well at Brenton. So don't let that money expire or go to waste. See your best. Do what we did. Call Brenton Vision at 314-375-2020 or schedule online right now at brentonvision.com.
The following is a commercial announcement.
Your local radio stations are here for you. No subscriptions or monthly fees necessary. We're here to give you the news, weather, and traffic you need and the music you love. But if the foreign-owned record labels get their way, it could stop the music. They want Congress to force radio stations to pay them more money, simply to play their music. Don't let radio go silent. Text LOCAL to 52886 and tell Congress to protect local radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Burns your tummy, don't you know? Chug-a-look, chug-a-look. Grape wine in a mason jar, homemade and broad.
Well, Janine on YouTube says, well done and done with integrity intact. I wonder what she was watching.
She was watching me eat that cake in 3 bites, and I did it, and Janine knows it, and Janine is smart. What's your IQ, Gina? I bet it's really high.
Do you know what your IQ is?
No.
I have an idea.
Do you?
Yeah. Yours?
You know what mine
Probably.
is? Really? I didn't know that I gave that data to you. But okay. I guess I believe it. Man, there's a lot of sugar in here. I'm drinking a soda while eating that cake.
I was just going to say, do you wish you had a glass of milk right now?
Oh, yeah, I do. But somebody's going to be a wise guy and go get me a chocolate milk that's full of sugar. I guarantee that's going to happen.
You're just trying to get someone to get you milk.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's asking for a chocolate milk, doesn't it?
I don't think anyone's going to be a wise guy and go fetch your drinks.
It'd be fine if they did.
Yeah.
But if they don't, I'm going to keep drinking this Dr. Pepper. Wow, man, we are loaded up in here. Happy birthday. I'm feeling it. I can't stop, Annie.
We had him all jacked up on caffeine, and now he's got sugar high.
Yeah.
So you're telling me if I don't really have much of a show prepared, I just got to give him sugar?
Just inject it into his
It's like
veins.
a child.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
my-
Oh, wait,
My threshold for sugar is so high that it's got to be this. It's got to be cookies, soda, caffeine, sugar tea, and cake. All of it. And I got to be eating all of it at the same time. I said cake twice because I mean it.
You are wired.
I know.
Calm down.
I'm trying. I really can't. I'm hot. I'm very hot.
Do you think he's gonna have like the classic crash too? So like we'll leave and he'll be asleep in his office.
Oh no, it'll be a crash. It'll be a crash and a crash. Like I'll be on my way home and I will be in a ditch because my blood sugar is just done at about 3:30. It's gonna happen. Somebody help me out of the ditch.
Oh my.
I can tell you about where it'll happen.
You are wired.
I know.
Like he's rolling sleep stuff.
I'm genuinely hot. I'm not kidding. I'm like spiking all over the place here.
Have you ever done drugs?
Call me Lee because I'm spiking. Hey, get it? Whoa.
Whoa. Help. I don't know.
I don't know what to do either.
Let's do it. I thought we were going to do the poll. Let's do the poll.
I haven't had time.
Oh, okay.
You keep talking. Now you're itching.
Ryan, breathe. Breathe.
I'm not playing this up, man. I really am.
No, I can tell.
I'm jacked.
You came up with boop. Yeah.
Can you share what people are saying about boop versus beanbag?
My mom says boop.
Yes. Yay.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. But what did Mr. Wonderful say?
I can't say yes. I've lost the ability to say 3-letter words. Yay!
Yay!
How am I supposed to have a productive conversation on this show for the last 30 minutes? What am I supposed to do?
Yes.
Did you miss me, or do you, like I don't? Did you do this to the poor hosts filling in?
A little bit, not that much. I did a whole thing on Ruth Buzzy while you were gone.
Oh yeah, he did.
Like every time the conversation started to get away from whatever, I would bring it back to a Ruth Buzzy joke.
Mike Elam was asking everybody their Easter plans, and Ryan took up so much of the time with his jokes that Mike Elam didn't even get to share what he was doing for Easter because we had to end the show.
You couldn't turn it off?
No.
I should take another day
I
off.
felt okay about it because
well, I'm sure you did. You don't ever not feel okay about anything you do.
I got my story out there. I mean, that's all that matters.
The people were happy, namely me. I'm people.
The bit succeeded. And that's what matters.
I know, but your bits succeed when you are amused.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
Audience of one. Yes. Man. Okay, I'm coming down, but I'm still hot.
I think we're getting more votes for boop.
Yes.
Parker's the only one that said beanbag.
Thanks, Parker.
And didn't give an explanation.
I don't even know that this needs to be a discussion, but Ryan declared that Hannah needs a nickname. And the suggestions are boop from Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
And I texted Brad over my vacation something about Hannah, and I autocorrected to beanbag.
Was my joke about that good enough to repeat from off air? Should I retell it?
I don't remember it.
It's okay. I'll retell it, and you tell me whether it was
I heard
worth
it.
Yeah. So
Maybe I didn't know it was a joke the first time.
The autocorrect is because of the popularity from Hannah to beanbag. It's from the popularity of the Hannah chair.
Not a good enough joke.
No,
don't do it.
Okay, I won't. Then.
Abort the mission.
I won't. Okay. Go to IKEA and ask for the Hannah chair.
It's a hammock.
Yeah.
Oh.
You string it between two trees.
Now
lay on it.
Okay.
Now you're on board, Brad.
We're done. We're done.
We are. Here's the YouTube live chat poll. You can comment on whether her nickname should be Boop or Beanbag, or we could just keep calling her Hannah is also on the table.
That might be good.
And the YouTube live chat poll, is Trump's endorsement an asset or liability to win for candidates running in the 2022 midterms? Brad, I will ask you first. What do you think?
So is this, I know I have to ask the question because like you said something earlier that made me confused. So I voted it's a liability, but I'm of the mindset that it really depends on the candidate and the location that they're at. So to me, for somebody like a JD Vance, I think it helps him. I don't know that it helps Dr. Oz.
So JD Vance is running in the Ohio Senate race, and it's a super tight race with a lot of people in it. And there was no like clear winner. And his endorsement came this weekend, yesterday, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
So you think you said liability?
I think overall it's a liability. I think that maybe Trump's popularity is waning. And I think that the reason is because he played the 2020 election, victim card for too long. And he didn't move
Overstayed
on.
the welcome on the.
Yep. And he didn't move on to what he needed to move on to, which is how he is going to, or how he would fix the problems.
Okay. Liability. Brian, can you handle this?
I was just looking at the live stream. Lori says, how about bop? But Lori, I don't agree.
Can you answer the question?
Yeah, it is going to be asset for sure. I'm surprised that anybody said liability because I think it's still such an asset. I think with Dr. Oz in particular, I don't think he really had a great shot until Trump endorsed him. And now there's a lot of people that are reconsidering that. Although, and we're basing this on the Twitter reaction, which has been very negative to that. But there's a lot of people who aren't there who hear the Trump endorsement and say, well, then I'll take a second look at somebody like Dr. Oz.
So you think it's no question?
No question an asset. Mm-hmm.
Hannah, you have thoughts?
Yeah, I voted that it would be a liability. I think it should be an asset because, for what Trump stands for. But I think just the way media has painted him, that it would be a liability, unfortunately.
I am of the mind that in the midterms, it will be an asset. But I think in the long run, I think I would put on this poll right now, I didn't vote, but I think on this poll right now, I would put that it's an asset. But I think we're teetering. I don't think that it is cut and dry. Brad, your point being that it depends on where is very true. And I generally like to make these polls be one way or the other. If you put it depends, well, if everybody votes it depends, then I don't really want that opinion. I want to know where people, if they have to go one way or the other, which one it is. But I do believe that Donald Trump has an enormous amount of momentum behind him. And all he has to do is what Joe Biden did in the last election, which is just sit there and not be the guy who's in charge. Yeah. And you can look at what took place when Donald Trump was president and go, this is what we have right now is incomparable to the success we were having. And you can look at every single one of the policy changes, the 180 flips that this administration, that the Biden administration has put into place, where the policy was the opposite of what Trump did. I mean, that was like the measuring stick. What are we supposed to do? Well, what did Trump do? We're going to do the direct opposite thing. I think that you can compare notes that way. And Donald Trump doesn't need to do anything right now other than just kind of shrug a shoulder and say, told you. I mean, it is a walking, talking, bumbling, I told you so every single day that the president gets behind a microphone or a podium or next to the Easter freaking bunny. Like, that is the biggest win that Donald Trump could have outside of obviously the election that should make his stamp of approval gold. But he keeps getting in his own way. And I want him to stop getting in his own way because at least from the script, if you could write the script, there is nothing that would be more entertaining than watching Donald Trump win in 2024, especially if Joe Biden runs again. I heard on Outnumbered people, Kayleigh McEnany, of all people, said that she does still expect Biden to run again. And I question people who think, I mean, I don't even know if he's going to be able to finish this term. It depends on how bad things continue to go and how big the Republicans decide to win in November. I really do believe that the setup that this Democrat Party has right now is ideal for them. Biden is doing what he's doing. They have a pretty apologetic media that is still, for the most part, supporting what this administration is doing. They are kind of calling him on some polls here and some polls there. But if everybody is looking at what this administration is doing and saying, but we could have Trump, the people who despise Trump then still despise Trump now. They probably despise him even more because there's just an inkling of daylight that says he was right. So that is like internally even more difficult for them to swallow that pill. So I don't think that the anti-Trump sentiment is going to be any less than it ever has been, which is where it might be the case that the Trump endorsement might become a liability.
I just don't see it being, at worst, I would think it would be a net zero. And at best, it would be an asset. I just don't see it really hurting anybody. That's why I say no liability.
Chris on YouTube, this is interesting, said, would it change your vote if Trump is back on Twitter? I definitely think that if Trump had the platform to speak among the people as he should, that we have no idea what happens next. You never did. That's why everybody followed him, and that's why they took that away from him. The power that platform has in their hands to disallow people to partake in public discourse is way too much power.
Do you think that he will ever even want to be back on Twitter, though?
Yes.
I just don't. Not with Truth Social. I think it's making him too much dang money.
Well, it's funny because the only people who can use it are Apple iPhone users, and the people who have Apple iPhones who are trying to use it are what position in line currently are you, Brad, to get in to the platform?
I am number 200,004, 385.
And you've been waiting for how long?
Since it came out.
Yeah, and I'm on an Android phone with a MacBook Pro sitting right in front of me, and I can't access it.
I'm not saying it's been a great rollout. It has been atrocious, but the stock price is still high, and that's all that matters.
Until it's not.
Until it doesn't. And if it tanks, I could see him wanting to get back onto a different platform. But I mean, he's not going to give up $3 to $4 billion, which is what that's
him being
worth
on
right
Twitter
now.
doesn't mean he can be on Twitter and Truth Social at the same time.
Well, I think that if it ever started to tank, so the price, I mean, it did drop a little bit on the news that Elon Musk was interested in buying Twitter. Every other platform dropped on that. But I think if it started to really tank, the thing that would make it recover is if he started using it, because he's kind of holding the trump card, so to speak, until that happens so that he can boost the value of the site.
What would boost the value of the site is if Americans could access. If he posted on it right now, nobody would know what he's posting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
that's probably why he's waiting.
I have no idea what even the interface looks like.
I know.
I open the app and all I get is the number.
Truth Social to me is non-existent, and
I agree.
I'm not saying this is what you're advocating for, but I am way less interested in Donald Trump winning on the social media front as I am in him being able to re-enter Twitter. That would be so incredibly disruptive to the status quo. I actually cannot think of a more disruptive thing than Donald Trump tweeting, "I'm back" on Twitter. Like, there is nothing that would, I mean, you think about the things that have been retweeted on Twitter, I guarantee you the most retweeted thing that would exist on Twitter, the second he does that, he's back, the whole game changes, and maybe Truth Social still exists on the side, but I think he wants the presidency back more than he wants Truth Social to succeed, and he needs to be back on Twitter to win the presidency. Don't you think?
Kinda. I wonder though if let's say Elon Musk buys it and Jack Dorsey runs it and Trump's back on, does that end Twitter as we know it? Do people do celebrities exodus Twitter?
No, nobody does. It's that big.
I hope you're right.
It's bigger than any one of those entities.
Mm-hmm. And the thing about it is, too, those celebrities have spent a lot of time and effort building their brand on that.
Which is why all conservers are having trouble leaving.
And then the other question is okay, so they're going to leave.
They don't have
where are
trouble
they
when
going?
they get kicked off.
No, that's
pretty easy.
I think I'm
where are they going to go that they aren't already? Well,
there's about 15 other platforms that are made for conservatives.
It's not
So
the same.
maybe if they picked one of those.
Well, they ain't going there.
Yeah, they're not going to go to Parler.
No,
Or Gab.
it is the established platform, that kind of communication. And in my opinion, any of these places that are, we've had Jason Miller from Getter on the show many times, and we could get him on again this week if we wanted to. Parler, we've talked to people at Parler before. Is Parler still up? Is it back? I
don't know.
See, exactly.
I think it is, but I don't know.
Getter is a nice platform, but I do like going there to get my conservative news stuff, but that's not why I'm going to Twitter in general. I scroll through Twitter to know what's going on, and I follow enough people from enough different walks of life, and I'm not talking about politics, like you've said before, Brad, sports or entertainment, or people who are talking about Illinois stuff or St. Louis stuff or local entertainment. That's there on Twitter, and it is not going to be lifted from there and put anywhere else.
You say that now, but then all the celebrities leave and they go to Frank's speech, and then what are you going to do?
To who? What? Did this just happen last week?
That's Mike Lindell's.
Oh.
He's got one.
Oh, man.
You didn't know that? Oh, man. Yeah. I don't know if that one's doing real well.
I trust you to stay up on the Mike Lindell
I will.
stuff. Someone's got to.
Frank's speech. Yeah.
Frank's speech?
Frank's speech. That's what it's called.
Frank?
Yes.
Speech.
Frank speech.
Like Frank Ladd?
Yes, like Frank Ladd speech.
I'd sign up for that. I absolutely would. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll get the results of the poll. I'm also going to talk a little bit about Jill Biden when we come back. I got something to say about her. I'm interested if you guys agree with me.
Yes.
Yes. Here, have this cookie.
I've calmed down. I feel okay now. I'm not so hot.
You should have seen yourself 10 minutes ago.
It took me 10 minutes.
It was way up here.
Yeah, I know.
We'll be right back. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Tell me, don't you know? Chug-a-luck, chug-a-luck,
The Mark Reardon Show.
Congressman Billy Long. The CDC's job is limited by Congress. You can't just go out, if you're the federal agency, and order something that's outside the scope of your authority.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Price check on aisle 8.
Susan.
Nancy, hi. Great running into you. Don't you just love grocery shopping?
I actually used to enjoy going to the grocery store, but with the price of groceries just skyrocketing, it's really stressful now.
Grocery prices are definitely up, but I never pay full price for groceries anymore. I just use the free Get Upside app that pays you cash back for all the groceries you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy groceries with the Get Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy groceries.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make $200 to $300 this year.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Get Upside app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy groceries. Use promo code OCEAN for a $5 bonus on your first purchase. That's promo code OCEAN. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or any gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code OCEAN for a $5 bonus. That's code OCEAN for a $5 bonus.
Is your roof full of ugly algae black stains? Just one roof restore treatment from Frederick Roofing, and you've got a clean, beautiful-looking roof for a small investment. If it has anything to do with roofing, you need to call Frederick Roofing at 645-2000. 645-2000.
Frederick Roofing, 645-2000.
What is it that's made Frederick Roofing the #1 choice for more than 80,000 St. Louis roofing customers? Is it Frederick's passion for customer satisfaction? Is it Frederick's own expert, licensed, and insured crews? Is it Frederick's ability to always provide an immaculate cleanup when the job is complete? It's all of those things and more. Frederick Roofing, the smart call to make for your commercial and/or residential roof.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof. Frederick Roofing. Frederick Roofing, 645-2000. Frederick Roofing, 645-2000.
Recent impacts with inflation, ongoing COVID concerns, and geopolitical conflict have us all and the markets on edge. Heisey Advisory Group understands the importance of having a customized strategy for retirement, especially during uncertain times, to help ensure these concerns don't have an impact on your retirement. Heisey Advisory Group is a St. Louis-based, family-owned and operated holistic retirement planning firm. Our team has defined a process that puts together all the pieces of the financial puzzle, working with all of your service providers to help develop an individualized plan that grows with you as your life changes and your needs evolve. If you're not confident that your retirement plan is on track to deliver the lifestyle you want amid historic levels of uncertainty, call us today at 314-328-6000. Again, that's 314-328-6000.
Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Firm provides insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through A Wealth Management, LLC.
The only person who can change your life is you, but you need to know how. Listen to my show, The Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins.
Listen to The Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
Owning a business comes with pressure. There's a limit to what I can do and still keep employees engaged. Fortunately, there's Insperity. They put 30-plus years of HR experience to work to help me with hiring, training, HR administration, and compliance, while giving my employees competitive benefit options. And because I'm able to focus on other priorities, my employees can thrive and my business can grow. With Insperity, nothing seems impossible. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studios. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 53 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
If it's bumper to bumper or smooth sailing, Sue Thomas has you covered with dependable traffic. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
This just handed me a homemade birthday card.
Why is Annie in quotes?
Describe what you see from this is just given to me from Ryan Wiggins. Just explain this, Hannah. Just narrate for us here what you see.
So it's on a folded piece of paper that is
scrap paper.
Yeah.
No, that's what my Wiggins America segment was today. It's so you can remember it.
Happy birth.
So I can remember something that you did.
Yeah.
For you.
The segment itself wasn't memorable, so you needed the paper.
I need you to
It
look over that
says
data.
happy birth, and then in all capitals it says day, and then in quotes Annie. What does the inside say?
Why is my name in quotes?
Well, if I didn't randomly capitalize things or put your names in quotes, you'd think that there was no meaning to it. But now you're like, oh, there's some meaning to this.
You know, I took a marketing class, an ad design class when I was in college, and the use of white space was highly encouraged.
Yeah, I know that.
Well done.
Thank you.
I'm impressed that it's folded evenly.
It is.
You're darn right it is.
You didn't lick this or anything when you
Oh,
folded
no,
it.
I wouldn't do that. It's gross.
Did you?
No. No. But I do have to have things folded well, though. So the white space, you're correct.
And then on the inside it says, "Hey Annie, happy birthday from all of us."
Yep.
That's sweeter than
I consulted
I thought it would be.
all of the crew about that.
And on the left, it says unemployment rate is 3.6%.
Again, so you can look over the data tonight because I know you keep
Do
all
you
your
type
cards.
up Wiggins America every day?
Most days.
Is it because you're nervous?
Wow.
Mhm. I don't know what is going to happen. I'm like, I got so much data. I don't know what to do with it. But the people need to know.
I'm going to get you packets of sugar.
No, don't do that. Give me aspartame.
Do you eat sugar?
Yeah. Well, not raw. I don't just like lick sugar like a deer.
Do deer do that?
I think that's maybe salt.
I did not know that.
But
I
you
can
know what?
see
Maybe
my
it's because
husband's face right now going,
maybe it's because
Of
that's
all
all
the
we've
things-
ever given them.
of all the things you've said, that would be like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Like, are there random sugar cubes? Like,
I
they
mean,
put
do you
salt
think
out-
deer would be like, ew, sugar? Or is it just that we only give them salt?
You give horses sugar cubes.
Yep. And they love them, don't they?
Not Ryan, you don't know anything that you're talking about.
Yes, I do. Clearly, I do.
He takes care of JB Pritzker's horses.
They're huge. They're Clydesdales.
G-Wibs from YouTube says Wiggins can always get a side gig in graphic design. I don't
All
think
right.
so.
Yeah, that's right. Happy birthday, Annie.
That job market is pretty slim.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to do the poll?
Yes. So our daily YouTube poll today, the question was, is Trump's endorsement an asset or a liability to win for candidates running in the 2022 midterms? Options are asset or liability. I've been looking at the poll all day and the numbers have been jumping around, but with 81 votes, 63% of the people said he would be an asset and 37% of people said he would be a liability.
That's interesting.
And then we had a few comments that I wanted to share. A lot of the people said they would vote both. And then G-Wibs from YouTube
Dude,
says...
Ryan has judgment. Okay.
Trump's endorsement is helpful if it's not overplayed. And then what else? Brian from YouTube says Trump running may be a liability, but endorsement is likely good. And then Amy on YouTube says, I don't think it's a liability, but I don't think it's the end all be all guaranteed win.
That's a good point, too. I think there was a point at which if Trump endorsed you, you were in.
So it's not, as they said in NBA Jam a long time ago, the nail in the coffin.
Mm-hmm. She's on fire.
She's on fire. Yeah, if you know, you know.
So bonus.
There's like 7 people going, I know this.
Yeah.
I am not one of them.
When they said out loud,
You are, though. You know it, don't you?
Oh, yeah, he's on fire. What do you think about the people he's endorsing?
I don't like Oz.
Nobody likes. He's got a streak of endorsing people who are not my air quotes obvious choice for Trump.
I think he's looking at the possibility of winning in 2024 and who's most likely to be a winning Republican this year to carry through those 6 years.
If you're not a Democrat, you're most likely to win this year more than ever.
Yes, that's true. But I think that's why he's endorsing less MAGA, less America First candidates, whatever you want to call them, and more centrist candidates in some states like Pennsylvania, because he wants to make sure that's a Republican there. Now, the opposite argument, though, is you're getting a Mitt Romney out of it. What good is that?
That's just that's the opposite of MAGA.
I agree.
So if he's not endorsing people who are MAGA, then what is MAGA?
I honestly think he's thinking about his own 4 years in the White House and going, I just want to make sure we have a Republican coming out of Pennsylvania and some of those contentious states, which is why he's doing what he's doing.
Dr. Oz was it Sean Parnell? Is he the one? Like, this doesn't make sense to me. What do you think, Fred?
I think Ryan might actually be onto something there, but I'm gonna take a little different angle to this.
Yeah, don't do that.
I think
he's
looking for people that he thinks are going to win.
Yeah,
and he's looking to attach his name to a winner.
You think he's trying to change his brand?
Yes, not necessarily change his brand, but how well have the Trump endorsed candidates done so far?
Very well.
Because I've heard that they haven't been doing as well.
Well, maybe more recent, like in the most recent 21 election or something. But overall, he's got a great track record.
So yeah, if you're going back to, that
the whole time,
but that's not the case because 2020 happened, and so people have a bad taste in their mouth with him. And I think he's trying to attach his name to candidates that win, so they can say, "Look, I still have the magic touch, and the people that I say win."
Robbie Starbuck, is it Tennessee?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he didn't endorse.
He endorsed Morgan Ortagus, who worked in his administration, but I believe also worked in the Obama administration and was on Fox News for a while as a contributor in, I think, the Defense Department. But I don't follow Trump's endorsements specifically, but they do cross my path based on everybody else. And it just seems to me like the consistency that I see from, the contingent of conservatives that exist on social media is endorsement after endorsement. They're going, what is going on?
Well, he seems to really value celebrity and he values loyalty, which I get the loyalty, but celebrity means he's endorsing people like Dr. Oz. And what I really want is Trump to come out and say, look, I had a conversation with this guy. Here's what he told me. Here's why I did it. Because that could, calm my fears about Dr. Oz a little bit if he said the right things to Trump. Now, he may just be saying that, but I would at least like to hear it.
I said I was going to talk about Joe Biden, and I didn't really get to that. But I'm here to say that Joe Biden is the worst. There is no person in Washington, D.C. that I understand less than the wife of this president of the United States, and how any wife would look at her husband and put him in the position he's in right now. And I say that as somebody, not as a political commentator, as somebody who's a wife. What is she doing? It's shameful.
She's in the White House. That's what she's doing.
Well, I'm afraid that that's the answer.
Yeah.
I think you're spot on. Hey, thanks for all of the sugar.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And the gifts and everything was very kind of you. And thank you all for being back here. Thanks for giving me a little break to spend time with my kids at home. The Mark Reardon Show up next.
You found the one? Now find the ring. Come to Shane Company. Our team of jewelry consultants will do whatever it takes to help you find the perfect engagement ring. Not only are we knowledgeable about diamonds and sapphires, ring settings, and financing options, but we're problem solvers too. Just the other day, a guy came in who wanted to surprise his girlfriend with a spectacular engagement ring, but he wasn't certain what style she would like.